àtọmọdé mo kí yín mo kágò. Onílé àlejò àgbà àtọmọdé mo kí yín mo kágò. Ìpàdé wa yóò máa dùn yùngbà bí oyin. Ó dìgbà o, ó dìgbò mìíràn o, ẹ̀yin ọmọ ìbílẹ̀ a kí yín ó dìgbà o.
Hello, good afternoon everybody. Welcome to Ballarat. This is our first event for the year, Nigeria Yoruba Heritage and Cultural Association of Victoria. We are having our Ballarat getaway from stroke picnic today, the 30th of March 2018. Today is the Good Friday. Welcome. Today we will be having a lot of fun. We'll be having a picnic. We'll be mixing up with each other and enjoying the Good Friday. We're also going to take advantage of today by empowering each other to talk more about entrepreneurship. This is a area where we want to encourage and empower our members to look for more sort of income, to be creative, to look at how to better their life in this very good land of opportunity. Dr. Michael Akindeju will be talking to us about entrepreneurship, how we can get into business, how we can, make money. We're also going to be talking about healthy living, which will be presented to us by Mrs. Fumi Umidira. Mrs. Umidira will be talking to us a lot about how we can live healthily. And we'll also be having a panel of discussants of students. We have undergraduate students, master's students, as well as PhD students that will be talking to us about how to get into the educational system in Australia, how you can come from home, how you can be supported while you are here, and how you can get into the labor market in Australia. So there's a lot to gain this afternoon. Come along. We also have a lot of gifts for our Yoruba language students this afternoon. People are already here. If you are still on your way, we are waiting for you. Please, come and join us. It's going to be fun. Thank you.
So much. As you know, the Easter picnic, the family getaway is an annual program that we have within our organization, the Yoruba Yoruba Heritage and Cultural Organization of Victoria. And Ballarat Getaway will be the second one that we're going to have in the country side. And we put a lot of planning into this. We've started by identifying our people, our community within this area, people that lives close by in this axis. So we make contact with them and do organize with them and come up with a plan on how we can have an event like this. And we quite pleased that people responded positively to it. And we met with individual groups of people from our community that lives in this place, and even people that live outside this area. They're happy, they're willing to come on board and support the event. And today is going to be fun. It's going to be educative, and we're going to learn a lot from it. We're not just gathering to celebrate culture or to celebrate. We're gathering to learn a lot from each other. As you probably know, there will be a lot of educative program. We're going to have a panel discussion of on student assimilation, orientation to the community. Like we're focusing on international students that are coming from overseas, and even rubbing minds with students that had early schools here and now in the university, and how they're doing it and what they can benefit from each other. And not even only that, we're focusing on the family as well. We're looking at opportunity for family members to not only to learn new things on how to manage their own well-being in this very busy life that we maintain every day, to learn how to kick back and relax and have opportunity to maintain their own well-being as well. So we're going to learn a lot, and we hope everybody will have fun.
Inú wa dùn láti rí yín lónìí. Orúkọ tèmi ni Bọ́sẹ̀dé Adétifá, Ìyáàfin Adétifá. Èmi ni olùkọ́, ìkan lára àwọn olùkọ́ ẹ̀kọ́ Yorùbá. I'm one of the teachers. I basically coordinate the Yoruba language class in Australia, and we have series of events that is going on today. We are having Yoruba get together at Ballarat, and it's really interesting to see all our children coming around and playing Ayo. So we are teaching them our traditional Yoruba games, and also they've learned all sorts of poems in Yoruba. They've learned a lot of our culture and our cultural heritage, and this is what we want to imbibe in them. We have, at the end of the year, there will be a break for the year, which involve all the parents coming together, and children will be having zonal representation, where we have children from each zone presenting on our cultural activities. So for today, we are going to be giving children award for participation. We are going to look into some children who know how to pronounce the Yoruba language very well. We have all-rounder award. We have all sorts of awards today. We have little children that took part in that, basically just made the class enjoyable for us. So this is all what we normally do, and to get them involved. So how to join our activity or our class is always online via Zoom, and our number is 721-47-80962. So that is our ID number to join. Ẹ ṣé o, a dúpẹ́. Ó dàbọ̀. Ẹ káàsán gbogbo ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa nílé. Inú wa dùn láti wá sí Ballarat lọ́sàn yìí láti wá ṣe ìpéjọpọ̀ àwa Yorùbá ní Victoria. A dúpẹ́ pé ẹ ń wò wá, ẹ sì ń gbọ́ wa.
ní ọ̀sán yìí a fẹ́ fi àsìkò yìí dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Olúwa fún oore ọ̀fẹ́ láti wà níbí àti láti wá bá àwọn ènìyàn wa ṣeré ní ìlú Ballarat. Ní ṣeré nìkan la wá ṣe o, a tún fẹ́ fi àǹfààní yìí tún kọ́ ẹ̀kọ́ lọ́wọ́ àwọn èèyàn jàǹkànjàǹkàn, àwọn professor wa, àwọn lecturers wa. Wọ́n ti ní oríṣiríṣi nǹkan tí wọ́n pèsè fún wa. Èmi náà wà lára àwọn tí ó máa sọ̀rọ̀ lẹ́nu, and nínú nǹkan tí màá máa sọ, àǹfààní wà láti kọ́ oríṣiríṣi ẹ̀kọ́ nípa bí a ṣe lè mọ ọ̀nà tí a ó fi máa gbà fún ara wa ní ìtọ́jú kí a bá lè tọ́jú àwọn tó wà ládùúgbò wa àti àwọn tí Ọlọ́run fi sí ìtẹ́ wa. Nítorí náà ẹ jáde kíákíá kẹ́ wá bá wa ní community center, nítorí ibi la wà tá a ti ń jayé tá a ti ń gbádùn. Ẹ kú àsán gbogbo ilé, àdúpẹ́ púpọ̀. Thank you for watching.
Thank you. Attention please, can we all have a seat? We're just about to kick off the event. People sitting at the back, can you please join us here? We'll get back to those ayos very soon, don't worry. It's a promise. We're actually looking for a new champion today. Okay, thank you everyone. I want to use this opportunity to welcome everyone to this special event, the Ballarat Getaway. We, the Yoruba, members of the Yoruba Association, we really appreciate the effort of the association executives to put this together. It's only once in a while that we have this opportunity, and we're really grateful to have this event in Ballarat. I don't think many of us have been to Ballarat City, and this is probably the first time for many of us. We want to say a big welcome to this event. My name is Adeolu Abioye, and I've got my co-presenter here. Yes. Welcome. Yes. Thank you very much. Well, so catology no. Ekeke no so Yoruba die. Ele ti mo le sọ kó tó dé pa bẹ̀rẹ̀ òwe. Tẹ́ tó bá fẹ́ lọ sí toilet straight by ló wà. Tẹ́ bá dẹ̀ ti gbọ́ tí alarm bá ti dún pé emergency ẹ kọ́kọ́ dúró fún mi kí n jáde lọ. Ṣó ti yé yín?
Ìgbà tá a kọ́kọ́ sọ̀rọ̀, when we were preparing and we were saying housekeeping, why you remember? I told him and said, this is the way. I said, and you already know. By the time it happens, you will forget where we should be. Any whole thing you find, you will drop out. So, in case of fire, take any escape.
So, bá ṣe máa ń ṣe nǹkan wa lọ́dọọdún àti bá ṣe máa ń ṣe nǹkan wa nílùú wa bí tàti wá, a máa kọ́ fi Ọlọ́run la máa kọ́ fi ṣíwájú. So lady, as usual, a máa fọlọ́run ṣíwájú náà. So aláwọn èèyàn méjì tá a fẹ́ pè wá kán fún wa ní àdúrà. So àkọ́kọ́ pé Dr. Razak Balogun kán kọ́ fún wa ní àdúrà àti Mùsùlùmí.
Bá mi ṣàwọn ní àtẹ̀wọ́.
Bá ṣàwọn látẹ̀wọ́.
Ẹ̀gbá ẹ ṣàwọn àtẹ̀wọ́ yẹn kó rí ilẹ̀. Kó rí ilẹ̀.
Ẹ bá a ṣàdáyà.
Three hands together for you.
Ẹ ṣe gan.
Hello, ẹ káàsán o. Àpọ̀jù àgbéyẹ̀dùn o, ní aṣọ́pọ̀ ẹ̀. Ẹni bínú ni mi ò lè sọ Yorùbá dáadáa, so mo máa try in English eventually. Okay, máa fọ àwọn ọ̀gbọ̀n, máa my great indulgence begins so Kishe Adora Mini can't put in Laruba a little bit, then my English now again. Alright. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirrahmanirrahim. Ar-Rahmanirrahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghayril maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Amen. The Almighty Allah, we thank you for today. Thank you for allowing us to gather today. This is the celebration of Easter that we're having today. We're gathering today to deliberate, share some ideas among each other. As you allow us to be gathered here today, we pray that whatever we do, as we gather to enjoy ourselves, we pray you be with us, guide us through our deliberations today. We pray that by the end of today, we'll all thank you and glorify your name. And what we also pray for today is a safe journey. People who are not here and on the way, we pray that they get here safely. And by the time we end today's program, we also pray that you be with us and let us travel safely back home. In the name of our Prophet Muhammad, we pray. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Balogun. Before I call on Mrs. Owutadi, I want to thank you for last December for coming around for the Yoruba Day celebration. It was fantastic. When I saw the video, I kept reliving the moment. So thank you very much for showing up last December. Okay. We'd like to have Mrs. Esther Owutadi for the prayers and the Christian meeting.
Raise our hands for prayer. In Jesus' name, our eternal rock of ages, we want to bless your holy name for your goodness, mercy, and favor over our life. We thank you, O Lord God, for this is the day that you, O Lord God, have made. We're happy and we know we are really rejoicing in it. Father, we glorify your holy name for this group, the Yoruba Heritage and Cultural Group. We exalt your holy name, O Lord God, because we put this date into notice and spread it out to people. And we thank you, O Lord God, for bringing us here safe and sound today. Father, we say be glorified in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Mighty King of glory, we commit everything we'll be doing into your heavenly hands to pray, O Lord God, that you take preeminent control of everything in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Our God and our Father, we thank you, O Lord God, for bringing us here in your mercy. And we pray, O Lord God, as we be going back to our individual homes, that you, O Lord God, will take us back home safe and sound in Jesus' name.
Amen.
We thank you, O Lord God, because you've answered the prayer. In Jesus' mighty name we pray.
Amen.
Thank you very much, man. In Jesus' mighty name we pray.
Amen.
In Jesus' mighty name we pray.
Amen.
Mighty name.
Thank you. Thank you, Pastor.
So next, we're going to go just now. Africa National Anthem. What's that?
A woman. National Anthem wa. Nigeria, we hail the call.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Tony, do what I say? I say.
I don't know if you want to go to the ní ọ̀nà tí àwọn bàbá fi gbé lọ nípa tọ̀nà tó wà àwọn alálẹ̀ tó tẹ̀lé wa dó tó tẹ̀lé wa dó àdúgbò nípa sí pé àwọn tó jẹ́ àwọn olórí tó jẹ́ ti Yorùbá a fi ọpẹ́ fún wọn náà nípa tí wọn a ti kọ̀ fún olúwọba tó jẹ́ olúwọba olóòrùn akọ́pẹ́ fún ohun tí mo fi tọrọ ní pé gbogbo kàńtà débi láyọ̀ tàbí débi ayọ̀ tàbí àti kápá lórúkọ aláyẹ̀ lẹ́yìn.
Okay. Check out your answer. What's here? Oh yeah.
Okay. Shall we stand to our feet, please? As we take the national anthem of Nigeria.
Okay.
This one will keep quiet, sir. Keep quiet, sir. Whenever we use the microphone, we'll do the Australian national anthem.
Okay.
Thank you very much. One to shower for somebody. Oh, shower for somebody. Oh, tomorrow.
I mean, I think we're going to do that.
Show me the passport.
What?
Papa to go with me.
Gẹ́gẹ́ bí a ṣe ń sọ lọ tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ tí Níkẹ́ ti sọ, a dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín gan-an ni ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa fún gbàtà máa ń pè yín tẹ́ máa ń jẹ́ wa lọ́dọọdún láti wá support ẹgbẹ́ wa Yorùbá Association yìí. Àwọn executives wa wọ́n ń ṣiṣẹ́ ribiti gan-an ni. A dẹ̀ fẹ́ wá pé ọ̀gágun wa President Mr. Adetifa kí wọ́n wá fún wa ní ọ̀rọ̀ kí ẹ bá wa pàtẹ́wọ́ fún wọn.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Matthew Olawale Adetifa. On behalf of the Mama Committee Department, ní orúkọ gbogbo àwa executive for Yoruba Heritage and Cultural Association kí yín káàbọ̀ sórí ètò wa lónìí. And we want to apologize for starting a bit late. This is in the African time, but I think we are still in it, we're hoping that we will get killed one day. Today is going to be about fun as well as educating and empowering ourselves. At Dubai, we have a very vibrant association which is inclusive of everybody. Ugowa, Nean, Nero Tample, which is very good. And I'm very happy that Kosenity Akwi within the association in Equator. So it's now your turn to participate or do something for us, we always listen to. Today we're going to be having a special empowerment program on how to take advantage of Australian society where we have. We have a lot of opportunity in Australia, but you need to know how to tap it. So we have asked one of our well-respected members, Dr. Michael Akindeju, to talk to us about entrepreneurship, and we will soon be listening to him. We also want to talk about a way of living, because in Australia, we have a lot of opportunities, but at the same time, it can be very hectic because of where we're coming from. We have to juggle a lot of things together. Are busy because of a lot of things that we have to do. So our way of life, we need to live healthily so that we can last. I'm not going to take your time a lot this afternoon, but I would also like to tell us that this afternoon we're also going to be empowering our students. Here we have a larger number of our members who are international students or people that are, here because of their education. So we're going to be having a panel of discussants which will be talking to us about their experiences, and we'll be able to ask them questions of how they managed and how they got to where they are, so that whatever mistake they have made, we're not going to be making it. And whatever we can do as a group to support them, we'll be able to know how to support them. Yoruba Heritage Association is a very vibrant association of noble people. We have our children that we want them to know that in Australia and Mekong, they are also Yorubas. So we have a Yoruba language class that has been on now for more than a year. We have been doing it online through webinar. Anybody can join from anywhere. All you need is your internet. So we'll also be listening to the coordinators, and they will give us an update, and we're going to be giving awards to all the children that have been participating. Please feel free to interact. Let's get to know each other, and let us see what we can take home today. On behalf of my executive again, I welcome us all. Thank you.
Okay. So next we go to traditional games.
Àwọn aláyò wa la fẹ́ mọ̀ bí báyìí o. A fẹ́ ta draft, kí ló ń pè draft yìí o?
Mo fẹ́ lè ìmọ̀. Tí wọ́n fẹ́ translate draft paper, náà fẹ́ submit paper.
Draft náà.
Right.
So àwa àwọn ògbóǹtarìgì méjì nínú ayò draft, àwọn tó bá dára wọn lójú ni o. Ṣàlẹ́yìn méjì tí wọ́n dára wọn lójú dáadáa torí èdè ní current champion, ṣùgbọ́n mo ní pé kí n má tún bá yín fa kíní bíbá ilé mi. Èmi inú ilé wa ni èmi ní champion rẹ̀. One and only champion. So Tóyìn ti volunteer, a ní draftman kan, a tún ní òkú kan, Afis, ó yá for draft nìyẹn, ó wá kó ayò. A fẹ́ àwọn ọkùnrin méjì, àbí àwọn èèyàn méjì.
Take it back. No, say that I take it back.
Ọkùnrin mẹ́ta. A ní ìdòkùnrin mẹ́ta.
Ṣọ́ra ṣe o.
Lóòótọ́, ó yá àwẹ̀ náà number one.
A ní ìgbà.
Ó yá tó ṣe ó ṣe gbọ́. Ó kò obìnrin kan o.
Founder, they will take.
Ṣáàní obìnrin kan sí tọ́mọ bá wa.
Lẹ́yìn láti ní ewu màá kéde. Bẹ́ẹ̀ bá ìwọ kọ̀ wò yá.
Àbí ká ṣe 50-50 ni. Dáadáa, ok. Ayọ̀ wá tayò fún wa.
Ayọ̀.
Ó yá o.
Ok.
Àfíìsì ẹ̀yẹ bá bọ̀.
Lọ́dún. You better mind yourself, oh, mind yourself, oh boy. No do gaga for here. Baby, no do gaga for me. Oh boy, mind yourself, no do gaga for here. Baby, mind yourself, no do gaga for me.
You dey fumble,
I tell you, I don't talk.
you dey shout,
I don't speak, I don't talk.
you dey spray,
I don't look, I don't
spray your mouth anyhow.
I don't speak, I don't say anything.
You dey yarn no
I don't look, I don't talk.
you dey demo,
I don't speak, I don't say anything.
like e kung fu.
I don't look, I don't talk.
You just dey mesca from anyhow. You dey jump up and down like a Yoruba. I dey try make I no vex, make me no fight gidigbo. But if you try me, I na vex your mama no go know you again.
Boy, no do gaga for here. My friend, no do gaga for me. Oh boy, mind yourself, no do gaga for here. Carry your gaga go cross. Baby, by yourself, no do gaga for me. Baby, ọtí kọjú yẹn lọ máa ṣe gaga sí mi. You better mind yourself, oh, mind yourself, oh boy. Don't do blah blah for me, yeah. Baby, don't do blah blah for me. Oh boy, mind yourself, don't do blah blah for me, yeah.
I tell you, I don't talk. You just shout. I just don't talk. You just
nǹkan tó ṣe kìíní jù náà ni experience is the best teacher. Àwọn tẹ̀ ti ní experience so a fẹ́ wá kọ́ ọgbọ́n kan àbí méjì látẹnu Dr. Kípẹ̀jù Akíndéjù ẹ̀jẹ̀ bá a ṣáwọn látẹ̀wọ́.
Adúpẹ́. My apologies, I'm not very fluent in Yoruba, but I will make attempts to say a few things. If there's anything I want to say first is that I've titled this My Experience and My Lessons simply because I do know that if there's anything about Yorubas, the Westerners in Nigeria, we are very talented and we are very educated. And as such, we might already know a few of the things I'm going to be saying here. In any case, they are my lessons and the way I have done things. You probably would not find them documented as literature items. Some of them will be, but these are the things that I have done and that have helped me so far. Alright, I admire the commitment of the Yoruba Cultural Association. From what I understand, if you people have traveled 3 hours from Shepperton and Toronto and the likes to come this way, it shows a great commitment. And if there's anything at all, that commitment will pay off many years to come. I will start off by sharing my background because that will paint a picture or a narrative of why I'm in the business and the way why I've done it the way I have. So I studied chemical engineering in Nigeria, and as you all know it then, what happened, I was in engineering consulting, and I found out that I would finish my designs in chemical engineering, and then would have to transfer the designs to a financial person that would do some costing. And it turned out that we actually paid about 10% on final analysis of our profits to this man who was doing the costing for us. But as you would expect, my final year in chemical engineering, we had only one unit that dealt with costing, finance, only one unit before our class. So that determined or dictated largely how much of understanding of costing I knew. But then I I told my manager then that if he could allow me to do some further studies in banking and finance, I might be able to relieve the company of that 10% profit that we were paying to somebody else. So he said, okay, go ahead, you can do that, but you still have to be doing your engineering designs in the evenings. So I went ahead and did PhD in banking and finance, and so as luck would have it, Guarantee Trust Bank offered me a job, and so I had to go back to my boss again. Oh, I was going to go into banking. He said, no, that wasn't the agreement. But then, based on the agreement we had, I would do banking in the day and my engineering designs in the evening. I did that for 6 years. And so linearly, if you would say 19 plus years in Nigeria since 2006, which was equivalent to about 25 years in FTE, I was quite, as you can imagine from my narration so far, I was quite innovative. I could take risk, but I would definitely be very, very cautious in taking risk. I will always edge my risk. In essence, I will not take unreasonable risk. I migrated to Australia in 2006 based on my experience both in banking and engineering. I wanted to do something that would combine my financial management interest with chemical engineering. And it happened that Curtin University in Perth was the only university that actually offered a course that could do that. So I got offered a master's position in Curtin University to study in master's process management. So upon finishing that, I got offered a role to do my PhD, which I completed there about 2012, 2013. And so during my PhD study, I haven't had some 19 years experience in chemical engineering. It was relatively easier for me to understand how things were done. So I pioneered a novel reactor system. It was the first of its nature. It was very well accepted. Published a few papers on that. And I thought to myself at that point in time, perhaps I could establish a business of my own to take advantage of my skill set in engineering and in finance, but I understood the environment a little bit better. I decided I was going to wait. So I got offered a teaching position at Curtin University, where I was for about 5 years, then transitioned into the industry, where I was in Perth for about 3 years, and then there was an opportunity here in Ballarat. The Ecosystems had a $45 million project, and they needed somebody with extensive design experience, so I got pushed to come down to Ballarat. I did that. My family really preferred it here in Ballarat, and so I had to make a choice. It was either that I went back to Perth or I stayed in Ballarat to do. Of course, for a PhD person in Ballarat, there was nothing in chemical engineering that one could actually really do. And so I had to make a choice, so I decided to start my own business here in Ballarat. Now, a few things will become obvious in there that I was, as at then, very, very experienced in my field, and I was, as at then, as you would pitch it, I had a PhD in chemical engineering, and I became a chartered engineer, which meant that I was overpriced to be employed directly. So I had to make a choice to start my own business and begin to develop a clientele base. But recall that the idea to have a business of my own really actually got initiated in about 2010 when I was doing my PhD. But I had to wait about 4 years so that I would understand the local environment and obtain additional peak qualifications that would be relevant for an industrial practice. Now, what we've got here on the screen is a typical business architecture. You would find that for you to have a business or to be successful in business, there will be some needs that will be backed by some business ideas or some business processes, and then that will lead to an output. And that output will then probably generate some strategic outcome. Your strategic outcome are those things that you had on your mind at the time you started your business. Now, these two sides of the chart are quite different. If you started a business based on a need or on some need that you are seeing in the community, it's a little bit difficult to actually be successful. Even though there is a need, there is a need that you're trying to satisfy. If you don't match that with sustainable and adequate business process, you will find that in a few months you will actually your ideas may run dry, or you will run into walls, and then you will not want to go ahead. The business environment is very, very harsh. On the other side, so on that side, you started with a need defined. Perhaps you find that there's no movies, Nigerian movies for our kids that can teach them our culture. So you decide to bring some things in. So that's a lot easier. But if you are on this side of the chart, where you've got a lot of skills, a lot of experience, like myself, where I found myself, I was a chartered engineer, not a PhD. So for local businesses in Ballarat to employ me was difficult. But if I did, so I started my own business, but if I did not match that with some business process that is well defined, I probably would have failed in only a year or even under 6 months. So why start a business? What did I do? Why did I start my own business? That I've enumerated a little bit. Some other reasons for starting a business would be to meet demands, like I said, or that you've got specialized skills like myself and you needed to transfer those skills into others or into some ventures. In any case, all of this would need to be underscored by passion. If you do not have passion for what you intend to do for that business will fail. The business environment is very, very harsh. I will narrate some stories, some personal experiences as I go along. If there wasn't a passion that underpinned what I intended to do, when I hit those walls, I would have stopped. It would have been just easier for me to go out there and get some other means of income. The business environment is not for the faint-hearted. One reason for not going into business would be that because you cannot resume to work at 8 a.m. If that is the only reason why you intend to go into business, that business will fail. It can be an advantage for going into business, because when you have your own business, you can determine when you get out of bed. If you have an appointment at 12 noon, you can decide to get out of bed by 9 a.m. to get prepared. But if your reason for going into business was because you couldn't resume to another man's business at 8 a.m., that lack of value will transfer into your own business. Many entrepreneurs will tell you that they are up at 3 a.m. Many entrepreneurs will tell you that they hardly sleep until 10 p.m. Some will tell you that they don't sleep until 1 a.m. Many entrepreneurs will tell you that they don't get back into their homes at 11 p.m. When you hit those roadblocks, if there is no passion, if you don't have the value to support what you intend to do, your business will fail. Categorically, it will. And you will have yourself to blame at the end of the day. Some realities in Australia is that we're not short of ideas. We're not short of ideas. As a matter of fact, the ABS, between 2008 and 2017, established that there are about 29% businesses got started in those years. Of total business volume that we have in Australia, about 28% actually were new businesses. But how many of them failed in the first year? 33%. And 26.9% failed subsequently, which will tell you that about half the business volumes that got started every year actually fail by the end of the year. So we have a net exit of about 12.8% exit rate. And when we traced and analyzed those businesses that actually failed, there were some things that were very, very common. I'm going to mention a few of them by enumerating my own lessons and the way I did mine. It's not a business school that we are running, so I can only tell you my experience. Because at the end of today, we wouldn't have had a certificate in entrepreneurship. But if I can enumerate the way I've done mine, and I've been in business now for about 5.5 years, and what I've done, perhaps that would help us. According to the ABS, the reason most businesses fail is because they actually lack strategic direction. People went into businesses because they had a need, because there was something they felt they needed to do, and so they just jumped in without actually having a strategic direction, and that is the pillar of all businesses. So in my own case, I understood that extent I had funds that I wanted to waste, or that I wanted to experiment with. The only idea that I could demonstrate benefits for would actually be successful. Those values could be benefits to my clients, could be some social dividends, could be that I'm actually helping somebody that make strong strategic input into their lives. I said that I had funds that I needed to waste. There was no way I was going to embark on a business or any venture that I could not actually tangibly demonstrate values for. We know of NP, present net values, and these are ways by which we can demonstrate that our business or a venture we want to go into may have some financial returns. I understood that there are several options to killing a cat. There are very many ways to, if money is the only target, there are many ways to earn money that are legal and that are sound, that will not kill you. Yes, I know some people work 12 to 12, 12 a.m. to 12 a.m. and they do that for a long time. And so I did my profitability analysis. I did a market analysis. I knew where the market was. I understood my clients. Who would my clients be? Who would I be selling to? I did an analysis of who was in the market, who was doing the same thing like I wanted to do before I actually started at all. And I understood the risk I said in what I needed to do. I understood that there will be times when I would need to travel, and I made adequate plans for them. I understood that there were times when I need to be on site. What would I need to do? I understood that I would need to employ people to help me out. How would I protect my employees? Other things I did, which were very, very fundamental really, was to ensure that I had legal protection. When I researched the business I wanted to go into, I researched the environment. What does the government say I should do if I need to start a business? The first thing really I needed to do was to register my business, to be ensured that I was complying according to ASIC and I was complying according to the ATO. There was no point starting a business that will be earning income from that I can't stand before authorities, that I can't stand before accountants, that I can't stand before ASIC. There was no point. I would have sold my name. I patented one of my core ideas. In this environment, the moment you start a business, if it is beginning to show prospects of success, bigger businesses would actually hunt you down. They will steal your ideas. So if you don't have a patent or a trademark or a copyright that protects what you're intending to do, be very, very sure that bigger businesses would steal your idea. And actually, that almost happened to me. I patented my idea, and even before I began to share the idea out there in the marketplace. And before I knew it, two other businesses wanted to steal my idea. They invited me to meetings and to come and discuss my ideas with them in the name of collaboration. So what I did was, I sent them my NDA, which was my non-disclosure agreement. I sent that to them to sign before I would come to speak with them. One of them actually declined the meeting eventually. No, don't worry, we'll find some other ways of progressing what we wanted to do. I later heard from Federation University that the man that I was going to speak with was actually intending, actually had started a line of products that was similar to mine. So if I didn't have a non-disclosure agreement, he probably would have stolen my idea, and that would have been the end of a small business like mine. The bigger business, the biggest business of the two guys wrote to me and said, "We know you have patents on your products, so we promise you that we're not going to breach your rights, but that we are developing something unilaterally that will not be similar to yours at all." I said, okay, fine. So I kept an eye out. So another thing I did was to get better training on safety. Excuse me. Yes, that was one of the reasons why I stayed in Ballarat. I have young children that I need to train. Otherwise, I would have been working in Perth. All right. So one other thing I did was to get better training on personal safety. You see, I worked for about 19 years in Nigeria. The way we did things in Africa was different from the way things are done here. If I needed to change that bulb, I could just get some chairs, stack them up, and get up there and change that bulb, which within 5 minutes I would be done. But if I was to tell somebody to do that, and if there was a fall, we all know what safety. So I needed to get better training in that. So I got better trainings, and I wrote up a personal safety indemnity agreement that whoever I was going to employ would actually read through those, would understand, and would sign them off. Because the last thing I wanted to have would be a claim for one of my employees that even the money I have no hand, I would have to be paying, and then that would have been the end of my business. Even after doing that, I ensured I had professional indemnity and personal liability insurances. If you're starting a business where people would actually come to do business with you, where people will come to interact with you, where you have people going in and out, those are things you should consider having. They are not expensive, but if there was a problem, you would suddenly realize how expensive a human life or a harm can become. So you don't want that to cripple your business. And things as little as you having a 30 mm gap in your floor, between your floor and and the outside of your office premises can actually lead you into trouble. If somebody was to fall there, the law says anything above 30 mm, you will become liable. I made reasonable, okay, now I actually ensured that I had sales contracts. I've had instances where I've had projects, and then midway down the line, the client suddenly realizes, oh, if we actually do this project the way we have conceptualized it, we probably will not be able to make a lot of money, so they want to terminate it. So if you don't have sales contracts, you will be, whatever you have invested, you will lose it. But if you have sales contract, even somebody was to buy something after taking it away, 30 months, 30 days down the line, if they've not paid you, because you do have a contract, they have recourse to you. It becomes a civil debt. And then the law can actually chase them down to recover that debt. But if you don't have a contract, you'll probably find out that people would be taking you for granted. The next thing I tried to do was to understand the business arena with a view to what are the things that government actually give, or the incentives that government actually give, or programs that government encourages, give to encourage small new startups. And I did my best to utilize those opportunities. There's a research grant incentive that the government gives at the end of the year. Because I'm a chemical engineer, I do researches. I ensure that I document everything I do, so that at the end of the year, when I do my tax returns, I can have some claims back. The government may give you vouchers to get trainings on how to document things, on how to write a proposal, on how to write a business plan, on how to develop your website. They won't give you the cash, but those programs are there to help you establish and buttress your business growth. Take advantage of them, and you will be surprised how much they actually add up to at the end of the financial year. If you were to pay out of your purse to do those things and get something that is standard, you may be talking about 2,000 in a year or 4,000 in a year. But the government actually give you vouchers, incentivize those things for you to actually be able to get them for free. Next was that I designed a business process that will support what I intended to do. For some, if you are selling materials, you would necessarily need to develop a business process. When do you order your materials? How do you know what to order? How many days would those materials actually be on the ship before they arrive in Australia? Who do you need to sell to? How do you need to distribute your wares? All those things, if they are not documented as a business process, what you will find is you will be responding to needs ad hoc. And once you respond to needs ad hoc, the tendency is there that you actually respond to needs that will kill your business. Another thing that helps you to do is that you differentiate between your profit and your capital. Most businesses die because they eat into their capital. And my dad would be a good example of that. My dad was a very hardworking person. He was an engineering manager. He wanted to start a business on the side, but he never understood the difference between profit and capital. And soon enough, before we realized that business died. So based on that, I told myself it was something I needed to ensure that I don't repeat. I understood the differences between my profit and my capital. And as a matter of fact, if I was going to expand my business, I understood that I needed to put something apart from my profit to actually develop and grow the business further. One other thing I did was to start small. I did not all of a sudden go into Melbourne to hire an office, to hire a receptionist, to put cars on the road. I started small. I started with an home office, got a virtual office in Melbourne for the image, and then from there built from the ground up. One thing, and I was not aggressive in developing and growing that business, because if I was too aggressive, I would expand too much than my capital can actually cope for. We know the history of Masters, the homeware shop that was trying to compete with Bunnings. They grew aggressively, and what happened eventually was they actually had to shut down because their working capital could not cope with the rate that they were expanding. I developed a budget, and now this is very, very important. If you don't have a budget, you will spend virtually everything. So I developed a budget. I cost everything that was going into my business. Even my own wages, I had to cost at the nominal rate. I was using my home as an office. I actually put a cost there as rent. A few people supported me by volunteering their time to do a few things for me. When I started, I needed somebody to be reviewing my designs. I started put a cost for those people that were doing reviewing my design. Why did I do that? Because if I didn't do that, I would not know how to price my products. If I didn't have a good understanding of what my total cost was going to be, I would be underquoting my products. So because I did that, it was a lot easier for me. I just did a markup, and that became my revenue base. And I made provisions for my livelihood in my business. Even when I started, I didn't have any earnings, but the values were there. And if I was to be earning at X rate, then that would have been able to support me. And I also ensured that I had some other form of income. so that I was not putting too much pressure on the earnings I was getting from my business. So I had some other, even till date, I do 4 to 5 projects a year, and in the downtime, I do some consulting for Victoria Police, for Australia and New Zealand Police. And the reason for that is because the business cycle it's cyclical, as you all know. There will be times when you have projects. In my own case, I do 4 to 5 projects in a year. I have some earnings, but then for me to smoothen things out, I actually do some consulting on the side, and that then helps me to even out my revenue across the financial year. That way, when I have a project to execute, I can plow back the income or the revenue into expanding my business rather than consuming the entire lot. Because if I consume the entire lot today, 2 years down the line, I would have finished consuming everything and that business would have died. But the way I've done it, it means that I'm actually projecting 10 years into the future. 5.5 years on now, my business is beginning to turn out profit. I'm beginning to pay tax to the government. But if I have been consuming everything I have been earning, then the tendency would have been there that I will actually have nothing left, even to begin to think of investing in the future. And one other thing I do is I ensure I record every detail of the business. By the 1st of July every year, I ensure I lodge my tax returns promptly. There's nothing as bad as you owing taxman some money or being on the news that you are defrauding the government. So I ensure I lodge my tax returns, pay my asset reviews. Now, when I started my business, there would have been nothing as bad as me not meeting my targets. If I was not meeting my targets and I did not know it, I would have had no way of correcting my operations. So this here is just saying that you have a tank that you are putting money into, that's your business there. So you are inputting some efforts. So you have some products going in and you have some products going out. The best analogy for this is revenue. So you have a revenue base. If you are spending too much than you are putting in, that is coming in, this level here will begin to decline. And before you know it, that pump will run dry, that pump will get spoiled, that tank will fail, and then that business will actually run dry. So you do need some mechanism to control, to track what you are doing, and if you are not tracking well to set points, what you stated in your business plan, then you do need to make some amends to begin to track back to set points. So in essence, you need to, every transaction that goes in and out of your business, you need a good record for them. You need a bookkeeper that can record those ones. I'm very only fortunate that I have some banking and finance experience as well, so I keep record of everything. And the reason I'm keeping all of this, but I want to do a budget analysis. I want to be able to compare my actuals versus my budget. And I want to understand why the differences are there. So I want to present those information in tangible pattern, style, in a way that's understandable. Your volumes, your usage, your price, your spending, things that will actually make good sense. It is pointless, for instance, classifying your records in how many hours I went to the petrol station. It's good information really, but is it useful for your business? Because you might decide to actually buy twice the volume petrol in your car. So what will be of value is how much you're actually spending on petrol and where are you actually traveling to. Are you traveling for business deals or you are traveling for social functions? In terms of your business really, your business deals should be taking more of your petrol usage as opposed to your social functions. So you want to record and track your spendings such that you can make necessary steps to correct deviations. Always remember, also, there's time value of money. Don't pay, because you have something in your budget that you have said you will spend 5,000 on adverts, does not mean you should spend that money if it isn't necessary. If your business is doing well, and you don't actually need to spend 5,000 on advertorials, then don't spend that money until it becomes required. If you did it, then you would have wasted your money. How is your organization running in terms of business practice, in terms of ethics? You need to evaluate that and compare to standard. I'm a chemical engineer. I'm running a chemical engineering consultancy firm. I need to compare my performances really with a standard or a benchmark. And industries do publish that. So if you're not comparing very well to your competitors, then you want to begin to think there's something different that you're doing that's probably causing you not to perform very well. If there are no competitions of such, then do some benchmarking. How did you actually plan to have performed? There must have been some assumptions you made when you were conceptualizing that plan. Go back into your assumptions and see if any of them are still relevant. If something is no longer relevant, then you need to tweak or change your plan to be more realistic. What feedbacks do you get from your clients? If you treat feedbacks like assets, that will go a long way to help you. Rather than treat feedbacks like antagonizing comments, if you treat your feedbacks as assets, then you automatically have a way of improving your business practice such that the next time you are dealing with that client, they are actually happier. And if I have done some work for you, if I do come to you and ask you, can you give me some feedback on the way I've done business with you? And if I'm open to receiving that comment, you are more likely to give me your next job. And by taking your feedback on board, you are more likely to tell your colleagues that, no, hey, I know a guy who is a professional who actually treats you with respect, who will take your feedback on board. Now, the next question you need to ask yourself is, would you do that business again? And if you were to be very honest to yourself, you would know within you whether you've done all your business transactions the way you have planned them to be done, and you will know whether you will actually do it again or not. If you will not do it again, then it's about time you begin to make plans to wind up the business. Because 5 years down the line, you probably will not still be doing the same thing you are doing, or you will not be enjoying doing that business. But if the honest answer to yourself is that you will do it again, then plow in more efforts, plow in more resources to improve the business. And finally here, there are some resources that might be of help. I just said I'll put that on the board. If anybody were to be thinking of starting a business, hopefully my own experience, that's the way I've done mine. Hopefully you would have picked a few things in there. Hopefully a few things would have hit you like a light bulb. Hopefully it encouraged you to know that you can actually start a business and be successful. But those resources on the board, on the screen, there are places where you can get more information, where you can get a head start if you want to go into business. Thank you.
Actually, Dr. Kireju, very good advice. Like Dr. Kireju, mo mọ̀ pé lára àwọn àtàwọn àbí náà àti dá business lẹ̀ àwọn lára àwọn náà dẹ̀ wà tó dẹ̀ jẹ́ pé ó wà ní wa láti gbà ronú àti dá business lẹ̀. So gbogbo àwọn advice kan ti fún wa lẹ́nu àmọ́ bóyá àwọn ẹ̀yà lára àwọn àtàjókòó bí a ní question kan tàbí méjì tá a fẹ́ béèrè lọ́wọ́ Dr. Kireju nípa business àti béèyàn náà ṣe lè dá business sílẹ̀. Okay.
presentation. I've got just 2 questions. The first is that you said don't grow too aggressively. If you're going to start a business, how much would you, like percentage-wise, put into marketing in the first year, or would you, yeah, so that's the first one. Like how aggressive would you market it in the first year? And 2, you also said know the difference between capital and profit. Can you please expand on that? Thank you.
So the first question there, so how much or how aggressive do you do with marketing?
Percentage-wise.
Percentage-wise. Generally, this is the general comment, people put about 12% of their capital into marketing. So the other 88% will be on infrastructure and the salaries and the likes. But generally, when you analyze most businesses, about 12% of your time, of your revenue and resources will go into marketing. And the reason is you want to reach as many as possible. And then these days, really, when you have the digital media, it's a lot easier to spend less on marketing. But you want to be sure that you have that visibility, and it's product-wise, something that people can identify with. The difference between capital and profits, if I had a marker, it would have been a lot easier. But generally, let me put it this way: everything you own, everything that a person or a business owns, there are only 2 ways you could have funded it. So everything you own, the totality of everything a business owns, can be funded in 2 ways. Either from the money you have saved, or from the money you borrow from the bank. So they call it your assets equal total your liability and equity. So your liability is everything what you have borrowed, and your equity is what you have put into the business, right? Okay. So at the end of so your equity really is your capital. So your liability you will pay back, which is your salaries and the likes, your expenses. Now at the end of the financial year, when you balance your books, you will find your surplus, which is your profit. Of course, as a lady, I don't need to explain that much to you, but anyway. So now, if you're going to spend anything, if you want your business to grow, you only spend out of the excess after you have paid all your liabilities. So that will be your profit. But a wise businessman or businesswoman will naturally spend the totality of the profits. So there's something called retained earnings. You want to put that back into your business. So you then say you will spend maybe 5% of your profits. And that is after you have paid yourself. So your profit is after you have paid all salaries, including your own wages and all wages of employees. If you're working from home, you've paid your rent, at least a portion of your rent, which is 25% according to ATO rules. You are allowed to charge 25% of your rent to the business. You paid all your utilities, your internet, your adverts, your car. If you have a car that is used to run the business, you pay all of those. So after paying all expenses and interest, so whatever is left is your profit. Ideally, you don't even want to spend the entire lot. You want to put something back into the business to grow the business.
Any comments kan tí
Thank you so much for the presentation. I quite agree with everything you've said. But although you tried to explain it, but the explanation wasn't very clear to me, or maybe because you're watching your time. If you can please expatiate on this. You said the number one reason why you should go into business is because it's not because you have a need, you saw a need in the society that you want to meet, but you should have what you refer to as strategic, where did I put it? Strategic direction. Now, I understand you need to have strategic depression, but if you're undermining the importance of having to meet a need in the society, where are you going to get customers? If your business is not designed ab initio to solve a problem that you have identified and you have researched into how best to solve that problem, how then, if you say, I know you said it's important, but it's like you did not place it on this scale of importance where it's actually growing. So I want you to kind of clarify that so that we don't go home with the wrong impression. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. That was one. That was when my kids were trying to distract me. All right. So I'll put a slide back on the screen. So this is a typical shot of a business, and there are two sides to it. Here on this side is based on competence, like in my own case. So on this side is you have an input, whereas on the other side there are strategic needs that you identify, and those are actually the needs. So on that side will be there's a need in the society or a product need or a niche that you have identified that is missing. It's a lot easier to identify a need and develop a business around satisfying those needs. So, but if you're starting from this end where there's just a competence, then progressing to the other side when you actually have products coming out of that competence is a lot harder. So that was what I was intending to say there. All right. So because and the reason is on this side because it's just competence, right? Qualifications, experience. If you don't have a business practice, an adequate business practice that supports delivering products, outputs and outcomes, then there's no business. But if you saw a need that identified, it's a lot easier to actually develop business process and identify the inputs, the requirements, the competence, the expertise to satisfy the business process that will deliver that needs.
Torí àsìkò bóyá ká ṣe àṣe kíákíá ẹ ká ṣe kíákíá.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you for the speech. I think that was very good. And just a question around staffing. Being a small business, like you said, starting small, and you can't do everything. You have to rely on people helping you out. You did mention about people volunteering. I think it's a good practice, costing those volunteering, but you're not going to get that every time. So my question to you, how do you manage your staff in terms of being a small business, you're trying to be conscious of cost, and at the same time you want to deliver. So you need to have adequate hands on the ground to help you out, but also you're trying to manage your costing and also everything that goes with it, in terms of culture and all sort of things like that.
So when I started my business, the very first project I handled happened to be for Gecko Systems, and that was the company that hired me from Perth. So I had a guy, a younger engineer volunteer to read through my report. And so with that, with the diligence he put into it, I saw that it was a good potential. So my next project, I called on him again, and then we had an arrangement that I will put him on retainership. So when I have projects to execute, I will call on him to see if he had the time. In most cases, most of the things I do are designs. There are things you can do at a computer. You will go to sites, maybe after time, or then it will have to be when he was available. So at the moment I've got 3 staff members, 2 are on retainership, 1 on part-time arrangement. Retainership because it's a lot easier to just call on those resources when I need them. Like I said, I only execute about 4 to 5 projects in a year currently. I'm hoping that will grow and then I can have full-time staffers. So that's how I manage staffing needs, and as well, so I only got to pay them when he executes projects for me.
Okay, last question from Mr. Adino.
Thank you very much, Dr. Akide, for that wonderful presentation. My understanding is when you start a business, you are selling your idea to the society. It must have been a very big idea that you've been nursing for a long time, and you believe it's sustainable. So my question is, how do you ensure that that business doesn't die after you? So it's not like Okeke and Sons business. When Okeke dies, the business dies. So how do you ensure that that business lives after you?
That's very good. That's very good. The business company incorporation company act Australia actually requires you to have a going concern built into your business. If it's something that the government is going to support at all, there must be a way that you are sharing information and knowledge. So one of the things that I have done in qualifying for tax incentive by the end of the financial year is my research products, my research results actually shared with the government, and in doing that, it becomes widely available. But on a business front, I train my kids. As young as that little man is there are a few things he knows about my business, and my associate as well. If anything were to happen to me today, my those I have will actually continue doing the business, even in my absence. There are sometimes I've sent one of my employees to be at the site, to manage the site for a week or two, and I didn't even show up there at all. So the key thing is sharing knowledge, but protected knowledge. Like I said to you, I hedge my risk. Once we have signed an agreement, I have patented my ideas, so I can freely share that idea. If you double cross me or you go and do something that is dubious, but the law is always there to handle that. I did actually let a staff go, because that staff was going behind me, myself, to discuss with my clients on taking on some new roles. Yeah, so these things do happen.
Okay, thank you very much for the presentation. It's very much appreciated. And I also want to say a big thank you to the Yoruba Association for organizing this gathering. The comments, I don't have questions, I have comments to make. And the comments that I want to make here is based, it may not be for everyone, especially people who have no intention of starting a business, but for anyone here who has an intention of starting a business or you're already in business, that's what my comments is about. I am very concerned that a lot of us, especially those of us who have mind for business, we're too busy with work or other things that we completely put our ideas aside. I work in this space and I also research in this space. So every time I go to places and I see people from other communities or from the mainstream and I don't see our people, it gives me a lot of concern. And I wish that that more of us would stand up and pursue our dreams and own businesses and do stuff. You know, I believe that we can do stuff. If I ask everyone now, how many of us use Facebook? How many people? But how many of us have ever thought of creating Facebook? How many of us use a lot of social medias, we use a lot of things, but we don't think about creating those things. I believe that those who created those things, they're not better than us. And that's why I feel that we must challenge ourselves to think about solving the problems in society. Because when we can do it, and we're so lucky that we're in a society where there's a lot of support for people who want to do such things. And presently, some of us in various places, we're pushing for government to look at people like us and find resources and find that the fact that we can do stuff too, you know, and government has a lot of initiatives. They have a lot of funding, they have a lot of support that we can take advantage of if we want to be a part of it. So there are currently some support that government has created for migrants. This is by logic, you know, and there are associations and there are organizations that are, you know, managing the funding for people like you and I. I want to challenge the youth amongst us, especially because there's a lot of possibilities, that there are opportunities for the youth. So I would like to see more of things like this. I would like to see a business club come out from such a meeting as this, so that you can benefit from my competencies and I can benefit from your competencies. For instance, we may have accountants here, we may have computer software developers, we may have management specialists and other people here. But if we don't know ourselves and if we don't coordinate our efforts, we will find that we don't find help because we're not in our own home country. You know, but we're here and we can create support for ourselves. That's just the comment that I want to make. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was very educative. Am I correct?
Completely correct. One more time, I would like us to put our hands together for Dr. Akineju. We really appreciate your advice today. We will now progressively just move on to the next program. Do I have Mrs. Identify in the house? Yes, our Mrs. Identify, our...
Mr. Identify, just before we receive her and her team, I'd like to do this site reiterate about the housekeeping, that we have toilets towards this end, so if you go straight down, we have the convenience towards that end. Okay.
Lórí àwọn oníjìnlẹ̀ Yorùbá ṣe dá àwọn ọmọ wa yìí a fẹ́ kí wọ́n táwọn náà bá dàgbà tán kí n kọjú sẹ́yìn báyìí kí n sọ́wọ́ ọmọ yẹn ó yá kì mí.
Àgbẹ̀ ẹgbẹ́ kan mọ́ kí ẹ̀gbọ́n tó lè kí ara rẹ̀. Ẹni tí ò lè kí rẹ̀.
Àwọn mi sáré ti wá lọ́ba ṣiṣẹ́ pépé nínú lọ́ba ilé ti bá dé ó yá débọ́lá ó yá kì mí kẹ́ kí n gbọ́.
What we have to identify, this is Fuyo Victor Russia. Please get set for our presentation.
Ẹ ṣé àtúnmílò dání mélòó la wá fẹ́ mú dání.
Ẹ má bínú o, kàyéfì ló jẹ́ pé mo gbọ́dọ̀ gbérin méjì sọ́wọ́ lẹ́ẹ̀kan náà, ẹ má bínú. Kí mọ́ ló lè yàgò ṣe ń junú eléyìí ni ẹ gbọ́ wọ́n ní méjèèjì ni o ṣé ń kó sẹ́nu ẹ kúrò lẹ́hìn ẹ̀yin òbí wa gbogbo a kí yín àjúbà fún ẹ̀yin tí àgbà tọ́ sí àdúrà wa ni pé àwa náà dàgbà o a kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin òbí fún ìtọ́jú gbogbo àwa ọmọ ẹ̀bùn ni àwa ọmọ jẹ́ fún yín a ò ní ṣánkú mọ́ yín lójú o a ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ Yoruba language class òun ta sílẹ̀ báyìí a ní àwọn ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n lóríṣiríṣi tí wọ́n ń kọ́ wa ní ẹ̀kọ́ a sì fẹ́ fi àkókò yìí dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo ẹ̀yin òbí tẹ́ jọ̀wọ́ àwọn ọmọ yín láti wá sórí afẹ́fẹ́ láti darapọ̀ mọ́ wa láti ṣe ẹ̀kọ́ Yorùbá. We appreciate all the parents for the opportunity given to us children to be part of this Yoruba language class. We have seen a lot of parents supporting us, making their children available despite the busy schedule that you have. We appreciate you. We do understand that all the children cannot always be there or every Saturday. For those who have been consistent, we thank you.
And today we just want to say thank you to the children too for participating. We've done a lot of things. This year we had the drumming workshop, and we want to say thank you. Ẹ̀yin òbí wa ẹ ṣé tẹ́ bá wa kó àwọn ọmọ wa wá. Àwọn ọmọ máa lùlù lọ́jọ́ tá à ń wí yìí. Wọ́n lùlù. Èmi náà sì jójójó náà ni ò jẹ́ ń jóná. Adúpẹ́, we really appreciate you. Lónìí, a kàn fẹ́ sọ kékeré fún wa lórí nǹkan tá a ti ṣe. A ní káwọn ọmọ wá síta lẹ́yìn. Torí pé àwọn ọmọ ṣe ìgbáradì fún òpin ọdún tí àwa Yorùbá tún kóra pọ̀ papọ̀ láti ìgbà yẹn ni wọ́n á ṣe presentation fún yín. So today we have on our list, we have children up to 35. Ní ọjọ́ àbámẹ́ta tá a bá pàdé kò túmọ̀ sí pé gbogbo àwọn 35 náà máa ń wá kíláàsì, ṣùgbọ́n àwọn 35 yẹn ni wọ́n rẹ́gísítà pẹ̀lú wa tí wọ́n jẹ́ akẹ́kọ̀ọ́. So a ní pé orúkọ gbogbo wọn, ṣùgbọ́n àwọn díẹ̀ nínú wọn a máa pè wọ́n á sì fún wọn ní certificate. Ẹ ṣé mo ní àwọn olùrànlọ́wọ́. A ó sì fi àkókò yìí pé àwọn bàbá wa president association kí wọ́n wá sí iwájú láti fún àwọn ọmọ wa ní ẹ̀bùn. Gbogbo àwọn ọmọ kan ló wà níbí lẹ́yìn, wọ́n ti sọ fún wa. Some of them told us they would not be able to come, but we just want to appreciate them. And I will just say a little bit about them within the short period we've been together. We've learned so much from these children. So, on our list, if you are there, please come forward. If the child is not there, if the parents are here, please come forward. Nínú Yorùbá kíláàsì wa, a ní àti kọ́ oríṣiríṣi nǹkan nípa àṣà wa. Lára ohun tí a kọ́ òun ni ìwà híhù. So a sì kọ́ nípa ìfarawé, a kọ́ nípa ewúrẹ́, a kọ́ nípa ènìyàn, a kọ́ nípa ìyá àti bàbá. We learn a lot about the importance of certain things, and we also learn about the culture of comparing things. In Yoruba culture, we compare things with everything and nothing. So you will see a mom, if you are doing well, or dad will say, that is my child, that was what I was like. And you will see sometimes if you are very naughty, like a goat, they make that comparison. So you don't want to be like a goat. So definitely we have to teach our children so that they know it is the culture, you don't misbehave out there. So lára àwọn kan tá a ti kọ́ nìyẹn. A ti kọ́ nípa adìyẹ, a kọ́ ewì nípa adìyẹ, a kọ́ àròfọ̀ nípa oríṣiríṣi ẹranko. So lónìí a fẹ́ sọ fún wa nípa àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ kọ̀ọ̀kan. Lórí líìsì wa a ní Ọládìpọ̀ Omidiora. A fẹ́ fún ní sàtífíkẹ́ẹ̀tì yìí láti appreciate here. He's getting the best behavior award. Give it to the president. Best behavior award. Ladipo is very reserved and is very considerate, is very consistent. He attends class and participates very well. Eba Mishala Tewoleko. Who is that? Okay, we have this all-rounder award for Durotimi Ojo. She's not here today, but she's always upfront with everything, assignments, attendance, and everything. And if they are not going to be there, they will always let us know. Go to the next one, darling. Who is this? This one is for certificate of punctuality. This one is for Joanne Adetifa. Joanne is always punctual. She's always there. She's always reminding everyone, you've got to go to Yoruba class. Thank you very much, darling. Aisha Balogun Improvement Award. She has improved a lot. Aisha Balogun. Aisha, one thing we know about her, she loves competition. Once you say there is going to be competition, she's battle ready. Okay. So she has been busy with other competition, but she has been really good. So we really appreciate you, darling.
That's all right.
Another person here is absent is for Abdulalim Anafi. Abdulalim is a very young boy, very happy, charming, willing to take part, and always finish his assignments. There's no assignment you give to him, he will always do it. And if he's not able to come, he will let us know. Who is next? This is Aisha Anafi as well, has got certificate of outstanding effort. Anafi, there was an assignment about Adiyemi Eyitimora, lọ́sàn ọjọ́ kan ó ti jẹ lọ èmi kò mọ̀ pé, and so on and so forth. We gave that assignment to them. She was the first person to read everything. So that was outstanding. The next one is, when you talk about Yoruba pronunciation, we have a lady who is part of the Yoruba class who has the best Yoruba pronunciation skill. Ayomide Adetifa. Joy Adetifa. All right. You need to come this way now. All right, the next one. And that goes with Joy. Is it?
No, already.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. The next person is Encouragement Award to Omolola Omidiora. You know one thing about Omolola, she's always encouraging everybody. Give it to you. She's always very positive, and she will say, oh yes, we can do it. So she's very positive, and we appreciate you, darling. Thank you very much. Now we have certificate of participation for Ayomide Ayoride. Ayomide Ayoride is very knowledgeable, very active in the class, is always asking questions. And you know what? Something very special about him is that I know that he's very intelligent because he has a lot of questions. If it's not clear, he has, and he gain more understanding. Thank you very much. Certificate of participation for Benjamin Adetifa. Very reserved as well. It doesn't say much, but when you ask him direct question, he will answer. So that is him. Benjamin Adetifa. The next one, Olumide Alaba is not here today. That's certificate of participation. Adewale Adeoye, certificate of active participation. Adewale Adeoye, active participation in drumming workshop. So, bá ìlú náà lọ́jọ́ náà lọ́hùn. Ṣe ìlú náà dáadáa. Participation.
It's coming.
It's coming. All right, I'm going to see the next one. Uncle wa kan ní ọ̀dọ̀ wa ní bíbá yìí náà. Uncle Lọ́pẹ́yẹ Oyèkànmí, certificate of participation. One thing about Tokaya is that it's always doing its assignment. It's always doing its assignment. We've had to put him in a spot to try and speak the Yoruba language, and we know that he's trying his effort. He's trying so hard. We really appreciate you all. Thank you so much. Okay. The next one is certificate of participation for Adetayo Adeoye. Did very well during the drumming class. Did really well. Adeoye. Alright, the next one. Okay. That one, that one. Okay. Yep. And we also have another big sister in the class. She's a senior student. No. That's the wrong one. Sorry. This one is certificate of participation to Olamide Araba. She's not here. The next one is another active participant who has been busy with other activities in the community. This is for Temilola Olaitan. She's probably outside. Just give it to that. Okay, she's there. Temilola Olaitan, thank you very much. Look at her. She's the most beautiful, tender-hearted girl we have in the class. She's always doing her assignments. When she's in the class, you know she's in the class, very quiet.
Where is Zoe's one?
The next one is for Zainab Balogun. Zainab Balogun. Zainab Balogun, very active, and she competes with Aisha most of the time, or Aisha competes with her. Very active in the class when they are able to participate. Thank you so much. The next one is not there? Okay. The next one goes to Daniela Jegede for active participation when she has the time. Thank you very much. Daniela is very intelligent as well. I think we are missing some certificates. Where are they? Okay. Okay, we have a senior lady in the class. She's very supportive and encouraging and help her siblings as well to be part of it. Her name is Olaide Omidiora. Olaide Omidiora. Olaide is very kind-hearted, gentle, and very knowledgeable. And she speaks Yoruba well as well. Thank you very much. Okay. Okay. I think we are missing some certificates which will be forwarded to some of the other students who have been active participants. They are not here. So we have Elizabeth Jegede.
Where are those cards? No. This one. Yes. Okay.
The next card goes to a very gentle and kind-hearted girl that participates very actively in Yoruba language class. She's always asking questions. She's always asking mom, what does that mean when we ask questions? And we can see that through the video, asking mom all the time. And mom will whisper, say this. And mom is also struggling with Yoruba herself. So this gift goes to Zoe. Zoe Akamo, she's so beautiful. I like the dimple. Lovely. Thank you so much. The next certificate, yeah, that's it. This one goes to another wonderful boy in the class. Participate when they have the time to participate. They are not always there, but when he's there, he's there. He answers questions and he will do his best. This goes to Tolu Ogutade. And also with Tolu Ogutade is Sharon Ogutade, a delightful, beautiful girl that has questions. And I've had her asking mom, what do I say, mom? That's really lovely. Thank you, Sharon. We love you and thank you for your participation. Thank you so much. And I've seen her participate in even sometimes when dad is driving. That is lovely. Who else am I missing? Okay, I think the rest are not here. And Toby, who is Toby? Toby Ojo. Okay, they are not here. So the rest of them are not here. However, I will say this. Everyone, we really appreciate you. We want to say thank you. There are more gifts. We will take some of them back. But if you can see me after, if you know you've been participating in the class and I miss your name, please come and see me. Listen. Thank you very much.
Next, on my list, I'm sure you can see a beautiful woman standing to this side. I was going to ask her, Mrs. Omidiola, is it the book you are selling or the fine things you are selling? I don't understand. Okay. This is the second time I'm meeting. I met her the first time at Yoruba Day last year.
Sorry, I actually missed one important person by the name Jacob. Jacob Oshaki.
That's very good. So I'm talking about the beautiful Mrs. Omidiola. And then the next time I saw her today, she has a book already. That's splendid. And I know what it takes to write a book. She's going to be talking to us today about a book alongside health and lifestyle. Health and lifestyle. She's wrote about stop and reset. That, you know, we live in a world where it can get very crazily busy. That you are filled with activities every other day. But as she said, you can be busy and have it. So try to put our hands together for Mrs. Omidiola. Put your hands together for Mrs. Omidiola.
I want everyone to please be on your feet and do a little acknowledge everybody here for taking the time and driving all the way here. Even people that live here. And thank you for your time. I don't take this lightly. And I want to say I appreciate everybody that is here today. So my name is Fumi Omidiora. People, when they hear my name, they can't really decide whether I'm Yoruba or whether I'm from Benin or whether I'm from Calabar. And when they see my face, they get even more confused. But I want to say I'm from Oyo. My mom is from Ekiti. And I married in Ife. So therefore, I'm a universal person. I will tell you a little bit about myself, but majorly, I want to be able to draw out some certain points from my book, and I want people to be able to take home one or two things. So as we are settling down a little bit, I will say one or two words about me. My name is Fumi. I am from Oyo, and I have had different types of studies. So I'll tell you that it's not about the education only, but it's also about the education of life. I'm a life coach, but that's not where I started from. My core is in family. My value revolves around family. Anything I do is about family. Wherever I go, it's all about family. Now, family can be defined in so many ways. There are some family we were born into, and there is a family that you find yourself drawn to. So, that is my core, that is my value. I'm not going to tell you only about my qualification, but about who I am. So, when I came to Australia, and you know what? I have skipped a lot of the story there because we don't have that time. We only have time for the short story. When I came to Australia, I realized that not only do I have to compete with people my age, moms with children, but also I have to compete with people that are younger than me. I have to compete with them to find a job. I have to compete with them to stand and speak for myself. And being from Africa, a little bit disadvantaged. My name is longer than that. Oluwafumilola Anike Ayobami Omidiora. So when I came to Australia and I started writing all those applications, it has my full name because I'm proud of me. But I don't even get through the first stage because when they see the name, disqualified. This person might not even be able to speak good English. And then I pick up the phone, I don't even get to speak to who is at the other hand. So anyway, cut the long story short, I decided to do nursing, and I started my nursing when I was here, second career. I did nursing, I finished my nursing, I started working, and I was working in different areas of nursing. I found myself in the area of general practice nursing. And as a general practice nurse, you have some added things that you have to do to be able to help people in the community. And I decided that I want to help people with chronic diseases. So I was coaching people with chronic diseases, and I had an aha moment. And I was like, oh my God. Wow. I need more to be able to help my client. So then the third career came in. I decided to go and study psychology because I want the two to be able to help my client. How has this affected my life? Changed my life. From wanting to help people, my life changed. My family life changed. Everything about me changed because while I was trying to find a way to help people, I was helping myself. So enough about me. While I was helping my client,
Not only did I help myself, but I realized that majorly people that have chronic diseases, they start from somewhere, but they ignore so many of the signs. These are the chronic diseases that is brought about by lifestyle. Some you were born with, some it's lifestyle. And ignoring some signs means that you don't really want to look out for those things, and then eventually you end up with chronic diseases. So in my helping them, I discovered some things, and those are the things that I put together into that book. And the book is called Stop and Reset, Your Ultimate Companion to Being Busy and Having It All. Because one thing that came out from my research is they are always all busy. Please help me here. Who amongst us here is not busy? You're not busy. Oh, please. I want to come and do research on you. Now, that tells us that majorly we are all busy here. Now, there is an adage that says if you want to get something done, give it to a busy person. Give it to a busy person and they will get it done. But there is a downside to that. Busy people always think that they can do it all. There is a difference between having it all and doing it all. So we need to have our definitions right, because we are here from another world, from another time. And we are here and we think we can do it all. We can't do it all. But we have it all because we have the best of both worlds. Whatever we're doing, whether we're staying at home, being a mom, or whether we have a career, we have everything in us to live an excellent life. So, there is no passion to be found in us living a life that is less than the one that we are capable of living. Nelson Mandela said that. There is a reason why he said that. Because inside of every one of us, there is a desire to do something. There is a desire to have something. There is a desire for us to grow and to excel and to be something. But then for one reason or the other, we find ourselves being stuck because we are in a position where we can't help ourselves, or we feel that there is no option. I want to say to us today that we have options, several options actually. We have options in whatever area of life that we want to venture into. If you know from your innermost being that there is something that you are here for, that there is something that you are here to do, that there is something here for you to achieve, I want to encourage you to do it today, to go after it and to go and to have it, because you can have it all. You have the advantage of being here in Australia in a moment in time where there are some people that they have desire, but they cannot achieve what they desire because they have some form of inability to do it. And I will not go into so many things that can stop us. But you have an opportunity to have it all. Inside of us is deposited one thing or the other. And I don't want to go evangelical on us here. But I want to talk about why do we need to stop, reset? What do we need to reset? Why do we need to stop? Basically, because we're here and we're busy, that is the more reason why we need to stop. What do we need to stop? How do we do it? What if we can't stop? What do we need to reset? How do we reset? How do we reset? What are we resetting? Are there strategies that we can use? By all means, we all have different strategies that we know we can use. But it's always good to hear other people's strategies. So first of all, why do we need to stop? Is there anyone in here that has any answer to why? Why we need to stop in this present time and day? Why do we need to stop? Just yell it out. Is there any reason why we need to stop? Or you don't see any purpose in us stopping?
Give yourself the brain space to assess where you are.
Exactly. Assess where you are, breathing space, rejuvenate, recalculate.
Am I on track? Am I on track? What am I doing here? Am I getting results? So why do we need to stop? Prevent chronic diseases. Because our body gives us signal. And when your body tells you to stop, do you stop? What are we actually doing here today?
Not stopping.
We are stopping. What we are doing today is stopping. We are stopping and we are having a nice time with our family, but we are learning at the same time. So we are combining two things. We are giving ourselves a breathing space and we are having fun at the same time. So that's some of the reasons why we need to stop. There are so many reasons why. What do we need to stop? What exactly do we need to stop? So in my research, I have gone through so many different types of personality testing, behavioral testing, all these tests to determine whether you are this or you are that, and whether you are introvert or you are an extrovert or you're sanguine, and all those theories. I have been able to come up with two important categories that tells you your style of how you cope, how you survive. The first group, they are the doers. How many people here are doers? They like to get things done. They just go ahead and do it. Good. Then there is another group. They are called the thinkers. How many people here are the thinkers, the strategists, the business strategists? Yes, awesome. So those are my two. It's so easy. You know who you are. So what do you need to stop if you are the thinkers? If you're one of them, you know yourself. You know that when you are a thinker, you tend to overthink things. You tend to dwell so much on things, you think about it, you dwell on it, you ruminate on it, and then what happens to the thinkers? They get paralyzed by that thinking. They can't take action. Now, the doers, they do and do and do and do and do and do and don't stop. And what happens? They get paralyzed by exhaustion. So both groups, they get paralysis. Exactly. You know, you've been my friend for how many years have we known each other? You know who I am. I mean, you know that essence as a part of me. So, the doers, they do. The thinkers, they think. But if we're not able to know our style and to respect our style, we keep doing until we fall on our face in exhaustion or get chronic fatigue syndrome. I don't know if you've heard of it. Fibromyalgia. All those things that I have mentioned are the symptoms of those people who are the doers. The thinkers, on the other hand, they think themselves into, inactivity. They are paralyzed. They are the ones that will say, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. Oh yes, I'm coming there. So if you find yourself combining both, what do you actually need to stop? So the point here is stop and reset. It's not only stopping but reset. The point is you know who you are, you know who you are being at that point. Assess the situation and say, who am I being? Am I being paralyzed by my fear of things that is not happened yet? Am I creating some things here that is not happening? Then you stop. And then you reset yourself. I need to take actions. I need to stop what I am doing right now. Now, if you are a doer and you find yourself doing, now what the doers do is there is no thought or system to their action. They're just doing everything. They want to do it all. They're just doing everything. So when a doer needs to stop. What do a doer stop? You need to physically stop. Take yourself out of your situation. Find a way out. Find a place to reset yourself, and physically you have to stop. So we've talked about what to stop. How do you actually do it? How do you stop? How do you stop when you physically know you cannot stop? That you have to keep going. Moms, they know this. Well, am I talking to moms in here? You know you have to stop, but you cannot stop because people are depending on you. And dads, we know this. We have responsibility to our family, so we know we have to go out there and we have to go and work. But our body is telling us, you need to stop, I'm tired. So what do we need to do, and how do we do it? Without compromising our values, without compromising our beliefs, without compromising what is important to us, and without becoming the crazy staff. Because what happens is, if you're working with someone that is exhausted, that needs to stop and has decided not to stop, then they're the angry bear. Before you say something, what did you say? They turn crazy. Imbalance of emotion. Before you say one thing, they go cuckoo on you. Everybody is afraid of them. Nobody can talk to them. But that is their own internal struggle. It's not anything about the people around them. So how do you stop when you cannot stop? You have to know your style. You have to know what works for you. You need to know and study yourself and say, okay, what is my style? I have a lot of recommendation in my book for different styles of people and what they need to do and how they can actually do it. I have things in the book about time management, how you can manage your time. Some people seem to always run after the time. They are always running late. African time. There's nothing like that. There's nothing like African time. Let's get rid of that. We are in control of our time. Everybody, we all have 24 hours in a day. How is it that some people are able to manage their time and we are always the African timers? Now, I want us to change that reputation because we all have the tendency to manage that 24 hours. So there are tricks and tips and things in the book that can help people to do that. So that, how do you stop? How do you stop yourself when you are overthinking things? When you are supposed to take action on things that is important to you, that you know is going to catapult you from what level to level 2, or from level 2 to level 3, or from 3 to 4. Why are you stopping yourself? Why are you not taking action? Then you need to know what to stop in that situation. What is stopping you from taking action? Now, there are some other external things that can stop people from taking action. And I don't want to present a case here of, I don't want to ignore that, because finance can be an issue, health can be an issue. We can have all these external things and some other internal things. But you need to know your style. You need to know how you react to things. You need to know how to listen to your body and how your body can tell you things. So I'll give you a quick example. Some people here would have noticed a pressure point in their body. Has anyone in here noticed a part of their body that seems to ache or pinch when they are stressed? Some people, it's their shoulder, they just keep doing that. Or their knees. Yep. Some people, it's their eyes will start twitching all by itself. That's very scary, but it happens. Your body will give you 1, 2, 3, 4 signals before you start to have that flu-like feeling. So we need to learn to listen to our body. If you take nothing away from what I am saying today, take this. Listen to your body. Because if you're busy, you're busy.
if you are busy, if you are at that stage of life where everything is happening and you've got to do what you've got to do, then you go out and do what you have to do. But listen to your body. Learn your signals and learn to listen to them. 4 times your body will warn you before it decides to kick you in the gut. And when it starts to kick you, it will not stop kicking until you are flat on the bed and it has to recuperate by itself. So that's the health side. The other side is you start to get paranoid. If you don't stop yourself overthinking things, those are the signals you start getting will be, why is everyone looking at me? Nobody's looking at you. Why is everybody talking about me? Nobody's talking about you. It's inside of you. Listen to your body, stop, reset yourself. Know when you need to stop, know what you need to discard, know what you need to take and pursue. Because, as I said, there is no passion to be found in playing small. Don't play small. We're all here for something. We don't just travel over 7 seas to Australia to be here and be playing small. We are here, let's make the most of it. And let's get the most of it. And if your body tells you to stop, take a break. And here today, we are stopping. So I would get my brother to play that music one more time because I know people here, we work hard. So we will play hard. Please, my brother, give me some music.
F1 5 p.m. F1 music. That's it. Bawa, aya oko wa o. Yes. Ominu oko wa, bawa ti wa ni bambe.
We dance in December, no problem. We found ourselves of that, they dance in December, so the dance party, do you remember? Let's have a seat.
This one is, we're practicing towards the next assembly. Yes.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Omidiola. You came in with dance and she said, I will not waste your time. You did not waste my time.
And you know,
thank you so much.
25 and whoever buys get a tea.
And then we'd like to talk a bit about Mrs. Omidiola's book.
Okay. So Mrs. Omidiora has done a great job to tell us, how to look after our body, and also, she's given you a hint. Just the remaining information, you can find it in that book. Stop, Reset. It's $25. So they are all on the side here. And if you buy the book, you get that lucky tea. You can see that it's a designer tea. So if you drink it, you also start to shine. So ladies and gentlemen, after this, you can see Ms. Omidiora on the side here. So as we continue in the program, I think today I was just looking around. The only reason that I know that I'm in a Nigerian event is I'm surrounded by so many doctors and PhDs and also, they're everywhere. I've been in this country for quite a while. Every day I go to work, I don't see a PhD.
Where do you work exactly? Okay, I'm going to take over from you. Thank you, everyone. So we'll go to the next session, International Student Support Discussion. We'll have a panel, very brief one. We have two people on the panel. The first panelist will be Dr. Timothy Olusa. Dr. Timothy Olusa. The next person will be Dr. Oluwatosin Olaluwe. Can we put our hands together as we invite them to the panel? We'll do a brief, I'll read very briefly about them. I'll read about Dr. Olusa. Why Ade would read about Dr. Olaluwe. Let me take the first reading about Dr. Olusa very quickly. Yeah. Dr. Akin Olusa was trained as a vet surgeon at the University of Ibadan, the UHAD. He obtained the DVM, the Primary University of Nigeria. He obtained the DVM and MVSC vet surgery degree in 2002 and 2010 respectively. Akin worked as a general veterinary practitioner, GBP, and also lectured vet surgery at the Federal University of Agriculture. You want me to use my grammar? Come on, yourself. Okay, at the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, Nigeria, and UI between 2006 and 2014. He moved to Melbourne, Australia in October 2014 to commence a PhD in vet science. His research interest includes equineliness and biomechanics, dental abnormalities in horses, effective colic management in polo horses, and capacity building of the Nigerian African equine industry. He served as the General Secretary of the Association of Equine Practitioners, NIPE, before relocating to Melbourne, Australia. Akin enjoyed bicycling, chess, and polo. He's married with children. Akin is a well-focused young man. He's a disciplined, honest, and straightforward person. He has passion for good governance and peaceful coexistence of all people in the community. He has good listening ears and strong shoulders to lean on. Can you put your hands together for Dr. Olusa?
Oh, thank you very much. And the next gentleman sitting next to Dr. Olusa here is Dr. Olalekan Oluwatosin Olaluwe. Did I pronounce that right? Okay. Now, he, as you already know, is a Nigerian and is a medical doctor. He moved to Melbourne in July 2015. He obtained a Master's of Public Health degree from Deakin University in 2017 and was awarded an international scholarship the same year to pursue his PhD in humanitarian health, which he is currently on. So he also coaches on effective living and teaches people on practical Christian living. He is a lover of football and
Barcelona.
well, the only fault I can read out so far, he's a Barcelona fan, not Arsenal. So everything else is good. That's the only problem. Yeah. So ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Dr. Olaluwe.
Okay, I'll stay around so that to manage the session. If you permit me, I would like that I'll crave your indulgence that Tosi answers questions around masters to PhD because he's done masters in Australia. He didn't do his masters in Australia, am I correct? So if you have questions towards masters and PhD, we can have Tosi, but if it's just core PhD, do we understand? Because he didn't do his masters in Australia, so we can do that. Do we want to say a few things first of all before we get the questions coming in?
All right, good afternoon. Tosi Olaluwe, like it's been said. I studied medicine in Nigeria, did my master's in public health care, and I'm currently doing a PhD in humanitarian health, focusing on sexual violence perpetrated against South Sudanese men in Uganda. They settled in Uganda. See the was surprised, sexual violence against men, but it's alright. I was surprised to learn about it, so Anyway, I was told to say a few things about my experience. So, when I was doing my master's, and I think I'll just try to talk in 2-3 minutes about the things that I feel saw me through those years. And I'll just give 3 points, really, which I learned before coming here, and I made it part of my life. And I think there are things I would like to tell every student. And I also believe that beyond the student life, you can actually apply these things in your day-to-day life. The first one is the place of strategy, like having a plan, knowing when I was doing my master's, one of the things I made sure I did was that every semester I draw up a plan as to, okay, I'm doing 4 units, and I know exactly how much of time I want to allocate to each unit. I just drew up plans for myself, and I drew those plans not just on a semester basis, I drew them on weekly basis, on daily basis, and it made life really easy for me. Mr. Mitchell was talking the other time about, certificates about time management and the rest of them, so that you wouldn't wear yourself out. Planning, strategy goes a long way. And then the next thing I would say is what I say, I'll call it energy. I put a lot of energy into things. People usually say, I know rather that where we came from in Nigeria, there's a lot of God did this for me, God did that for me. Now, I'm a very firm believer in God, and but at the same time, I also believe in work. So I always tell people, if you're gonna, like the way my, just digress a bit, the way my PhD scholarship came, I usually tell people that it is basically God. But even if God is going to do something for you, then someone will have to see the results. Imagine God is setting something for you, and then they check your result, they see that you've had 50s and 60s, nobody's going to give you a scholarship. So there's a place for hard work. So I talk about energy. And then finally I talk about synergy, which talks about you relating with other people. There are definitely people around you that can help your journey, your story. You want to form a bit of an association with those people. And I think that is one thing. Somebody was saying the other time about developing a business group from these kind of meetings. You find yourself in these kind of settings, you can interact with people. Somebody will be able to tell you, I've done these things before, this is the way I did it, or I've done that unit before, this is the way I did it, and it can actually help you. So I talked about strategy, I talked about energy, and of course synergy. And I will just end that by saying that the most important synergy, I know I've mentioned something about this before, the most important synergy, which you shouldn't forget, is the God factor. Whether you're a Christian, a Muslim, or whatsoever, I always like to put it in perspective. Thank you.
I was trained at UI, as we've heard, so I want to thank everybody for this opportunity. Respect to elders leaders, past, present, and future, and for the traditional owners of this land and all that. Now, one of my professors at University of Ballarat, I will not mention the name, first day of the semester, when he enters the class, one of the first things they will say is, you've got 2 ears, you've got 2 eyes, and you've got 1 mouth. Meaning, you should listen more, you should see, observe more, and you should shut up, you should talk less. That's why you've got just 1 and not 2. So meaning, speak less, observe more with the eyes, and listen more. Now, apart from that, another thing I will say is, you see, we will just laugh sarcastically and say, you see, some of you will fail at the end of this semester. It's normal, some of you will fail. And of course, some of you will pass. But you know what will make the difference? Is from day 1. Because failure is a gradual process. And success is also a gradual process. So you just don't fail at the end of the semester when you sit for the exam. You start failing from the day 1 of the semester. I say, well, I learned a few things from that, and of course, years later, when I also became a lecturer, well, some of my students back in Nigeria have also completed a PhD in Australia, and they're doing well. So, now, you must be able to plan your life right from day 1 of the journey. Even before you begin the journey. Planning. You can never over-plan for what project you want to do. You want to do a PhD? You need to plan about it. Why do you want a PhD? You must know why, what is driving you. The reason why I've done my PhD, or why I'm about completing my PhD by those grace by next month, I should be able to hand over the thesis and be a free man again. Because it's like being sentenced to 4 how many years with hard labor. That's actually what doing a PhD is like. I mean, it's crazy. Now, when you must know why you want to do a PhD. And I'll be clearly defined. Because the going will get tough. And when the going gets tough, what will keep you going is the reason why you started the PhD to start with. Forget about you are being sponsored. I was being sponsored, I'm on scholarship. But despite the scholarship, because we'll come to that later, maybe the questions will come along the line. Apart from finances, because finance is going to be a major issue. Even when you have all the money, all the reagents, all the stuff, you will feel like quitting. But if you don't know the reason why you're starting, when you hit the wall, you will feel like throwing, just, I've had enough, I'm going out. Your first year of PhD is likely to be smooth. Oh, you're still bashing in the fury of moving up and all this stuff. But second years will really get crazy. And like, maybe your experiment is not just working. The proposal that you thought you really started with, you put it into the experiment, and the experiment literally blow up in your face. You go back to the drawing board. So these things are challenging. So you must know why you are doing what you're doing, and that is linked to planning. Another thing that has defined my life, it's also determination, and another point is you must be able to speak up. Don't keep quiet even though you have just one mouth. You need to know when to speak up and when to hold your peace. You must know when to speak up and look to your supervisor and say, well, the situation at home is a bit different. If you were to be at home, you would say, okay, I don't think I can take it anymore. You must know when to be able to say, no, this is too much work, I can't do it. Because some of your supervisors can actually make you to do the work of 2 or 3 PhDs. And at the end of the day, the PhD is going to be in your name, not in your supervisor's name. So why does he or she want to work with us there? So you must know when to speak up and when to hold your peace. And lastly, I will just say, also, you must know what resources you have at your disposal. You know, different structure, different school settings, what operates in Melbourne Uni may be different from what operates at Monash or other places. So you must be close to either your graduate student association or whatever resources you have available. Tap into it. There's a reason why those things exist. It's for you. Those things exist so that your PhD journey will be as comfortable, as smooth as possible. It's going to be a lonely journey. It's going to be a difficult journey, but you don't have to make it extra difficult or extra lonely if you can tap into some of these resources that are available for you. So that would be, in a nutshell, a little introduction I want to give to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lusa and Dr. Olawumi. I'm glad that you talked about unrealistic expectations for the supervisor. I'm doing my PhD as well, and I know what that means. It's a key part. If I ask you, Dr. Lusa, I expect that our questions will come in straws shortly. What would you say is the strongest ingredient? So I remember asking my bachelor's supervisor and saying that, what do you think it really requires? And I remember I said that PhD is not a road of intelligence. It's a road of endurance. Do you agree with me?
I think we agree for like 75%. Okay. Because you need intelligence to analyze the problem, break it down into small pieces, find a solution. But you see, the intelligence to be able to do that is one part. You must also be able to persevere and say, okay, this thing seems it's not working, but I must find a way to make it work. I can remember during the strikes in those days at UI, one of our professors, he's not a professor, he was a doctor then, one of the big things in UI, we were interacting and he said, it's like, why is ASU striking for God's sake? And it's like, you don't understand. I said, make me understand. It's like, there's no higher height of frustration than knowing something and being unable to do it. I said, really? If you actually know something, you will be able to do it, to find a way to do it. So, in a way, I kind of challenge that proposition of ease that if you know something, there's nothing frustrating than being incapacitated from doing it. Because if you truly know it, I believe you will find a way around getting it done. Okay. So intelligence is good, perseverance is also very important. So the two has to go hand in hand. But as current percentages to which one you need more than the other, that will just be an exercise in academic theory. Okay. I think.
So if I ask you, what would be your number one ingredient for scaling for PhD?
There's nothing like number one ingredients. Because you see, ingredients.
I'm asking this question, let me interrupt you there. I'm asking this question for someone who is in between. It's probably just finished a master's or looking into venturing. And there's this feeling that, can I really do it? So I'm trying to, I don't mean.
Okay, if that's what you mean, I was putting it this way, focus. Okay. You must be able to focus, because with focus comes planning. Because if I keep looking at this picture of our beautiful sister here, after a time, if I concentrate my gaze on it, after a time I begin to see beyond just the graphics there. Okay, the color there is the blend of the color there, is the shade. Okay, I begin to analyze and I begin to plan, okay, this thing is not good enough. If I'm to do it, how am I going to do it? So from focus comes deep thinking, critical analysis, and from that leads you to planning. And from planning, you can begin to generate your ideas and put it down into proposal and stuff like that.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Lusa. I'll take questions now. Okay, Mr. Latino, let me take your question.
Dr. Lisa and the other doctor. Sorry, this is that. I forgot your name, sorry. I Either we like it or not, there is one fact: we are Nigerians. We all came from Nigeria. We cannot abandon that country. We cannot denounce that country. Even if we end up being Australian citizens, your accent is there, your color is there. My question is, with your PhD or your doctorate degree, if you were to go to Nigeria today, what is that thing that you take with you? And what is that thing in Nigeria that you will change?
Did you direct that question to a particular person? Let Tosin take that.
All right. One of my key interests, right from when I was doing my master's, actually my undergraduate days, has been epidemiology and biostatistics. And one of the things I realized when I was doing my master's is the fact that when you look at data from most of the time from African sources, you can almost pick different weaknesses, loopholes and all of that in the data that people talk about. For instance, when somebody says the prevalence of HIV is so and so, I'll just give an example here. They just say prevalence of HIV is say 30%. It is possible that when they were doing that calculation, they considered maybe just the men. They just measured prevalence of HIV amongst the men, and then they will write that prevalence of HIV is 30%, and so we are doing well. Meanwhile, when you go on to, actually it's not just Africa, because the project I did for my master's was in Cambodia, and I compared the results I found with the results in some of their government reports, and I saw that there were major differences, and the differences were basically as a result of the denominators that were used, some of those kind of things, like issues that can introduce bias to studies and statistics and the rest of them. So that's like I said earlier, about statistics, epidemiology, that's where my interest is. So I believe if I have to go back to Nigeria, which I wouldn't mind so much, I know that didn't come out nice, because I was in Nigeria in December, and I told my mom that if I get a good job that will pay me very well, I will come back to Nigeria. She didn't respond that day. Actually, I told my mom and my dad, and then the night before I left Nigeria, my mom called me and was like, Tosin, that thing you said the other day about coming to Nigeria, maybe you should not think about it. I can understand. So, but yeah, if I have to go back to Nigeria, really, one of the things I would like to take back there is to improve on the way data is being analyzed, the way data is being interpreted, because they tell a lot on the policies that that have been implemented.
Thank you very much. If I want to say something to what Tosin and Dr. Valiwe had said, I'd say that it's a big one, and if I would have said that it will not just be interpreting data unbiasedly, but more about pushing data into the cloud, onto the internet. When I was in my master's degree in the UK, there was a course that asked us to take a country, then do analysis on a public sector good, something like that, railway, telecoms, and things like that. And I said, for the love of Africa, I'm going to choose, let me not go to Nigeria because I may not get any data. Let me go to South Africa. So I chose to write electricity in South Africa. I think I barely got, you know what I'm talking about. And my counterparts who didn't, who chose the UK where we were in, had a very good distinction, because you know what I'm talking about, once you search for something. So I would implore us to push our data into the cloud. So there are some things you want to know that you don't find on the internet about your country. So I think that's one thing to add. So besides even interpreting data fairly, we should also have data on the internet, not just
Thank you so much. I don't know how many minutes I have to respond to that question, because I can talk a whole day on that question.
Just briefly. Shoki, thank you.
That's very Shoki. For me, it's not about if I go back. It's about when I go back. Get this straight. Now, when I came to Australia, I was having a chat with my supervisor and a couple of other, permit me to use the word like that. And the question, just chatting informally, and it's like, okay, Akin, when you finish your PhD, we have to go to Nigeria. What will you be doing? And it's like, we have to do it. And I paused for a while. And I responded and said, look, if Europe, Africa, Europe and America keep attracting and retaining the best of African brains, when or how on earth do you ever expect that side of the globe will develop? That was my response to such a simple question as, okay, I was like, that answer was like a thunderbolt out of the moon. They were quiet. Because you see, one of the things that informed that answer, that response was, I'm an ASU member back home in Nigeria, and for us ASU member, I hope you still know what ASU is. Academic of State Union of University. It's, we talk about brain drain. The best of African brains are not in Africa. That is the truth. Now, if the best of African brains are not in Africa, do you really think the brains back there can fix the problem? Let's ask ourselves. We said the previous governments in Nigeria was clueless because they appeared at the present one. And how to fix the problem.
Okay, it's not political, it's academic. Yes. We have all these ability members here. Don't let us waste change.
I'm sorry, I'm not going into politics, but I'm saying something deeper than politics. It takes a lot of mind power to fix problem. So the question is not when, if I'm going back with the knowledge I've acquired in Australia. Because one of the reasons why I'm in Australia is because I could not find a supervisor to supervise me in UR. I had 3 PhD proposals that I wanted to work on. I know as an average Nigerian young lecturer, you throw your CV around the world, throwing it to US, to Canada, everywhere. I would just apply it anyway. Some of my applications didn't get a response. So when I will go back and I will use my knowledge to fix Nigeria in the little way I can. That's my short answer.
Actually, I'm supposed to grade you. I won't grade you well. You talked about some problems, for example, to answer grade Ricardo, what will you take back? You said you will take your knowledge. What will you? Not just a knowledge. What knowledge?
Okay. You're dragging my feet too.
Okay, keep your feet in the shoes. Keep it there. Because I still want to talk about some other subjects and I'm running out of time. Do you have any questions? Okay, so if you have questions, put your hands up. Think about it now, and I won't take more than these hands. 1, 2. Okay, make 3. Closing time. Alright, because he won the draft game, let me take you first. Okay. Very quickly.
Sorry, Dr. Lusa. You just mentioned briefly now that while you were proposing to have your PhD, you're throwing your CVs around to the Mars, to the moon, to everywhere. And now my question is around that. We have a lot of people there back home. They will bring you up and tell you, oh yeah, I've got this idea, I want to do my PhD in Australia. Well, I'm not an academic person. I just do clinical stuff. So where, if I'm going to advise such person, where do they start from? What would be the first thing for them to do?
You said Dr. Lusa, right?
Good. Okay. See, there's no one cup size fits all. What was applicable in my case may not necessarily be applicable in someone else's case. So what I tell people, because so many people ring me up, send me emails and stuff like that, so I'm familiar with that kind of challenge. Now, the first thing I tell people to do, how they focus for what they want to do. Now, while you have a plan and a focus, at the same time your plan should be flexible. So search each university, search the site. If you have a link to someone who's there, for instance, if someone wants to do something on equine biomechanics and stuff like that I do, if that's your interest, I may speak to my supervisor. That's the best I can do. But whether your CV will be good enough, it's not in my capacity to determine that. So what people on ground could do to help is just where they are opportune to speak with maybe their supervisor or so. But essentially, you will have to do all the donkey work of searching and checking requirements online. But if you observe very well, most of the people that contact you don't want to do that donkey job. They want you to do it for them. And that's, I tell them, it doesn't work that way. You've got to search and search and search the internet, search the website. Nobody's going to do it for you. If I'm not directly in my area, when I can speak to my supervisor or to my research group, I can help you. I won't go and be spending hours searching something on microbiology on the net for you if that is your interest. So define your interest, at the same time be flexible within your interest. Thank you.
Okay, before, trust me, you can please have the microphone. Before you add something, I was going to say two things. If this makes the game better, you could add to this. So I would think that the starting point, usually in Australia, is two things. There are scholarships that ask you to bring a proposal around a particular field. The other thing would be that if it's not just through scholarship, it would be that you find the supervisor where you find interest in their areas. Do you think I'm correct, or is the other point? Just to say something.
I was actually going to say the second thing you said, because I was talking to my supervisor 2 days ago, and she was telling me about how so many people from different parts of the world have been sending out proposals. And when she reads the proposal, she's like, it's like this person doesn't know anything about me. So if you're going to apply for a PhD program, for instance, apart from knowing what you want to do, you also need to look for a supervisor that is interested in what you want to do. So I got like, for instance, what she said is that she doesn't even read most of the proposals. Like you see the topic, I've been doing a lot of things on obesity, and you're sending me something about HIV. I'm not interested in it, I'm not reading it.
And to be very human and realistic, I agree that when you want to do a PhD, sometimes if you don't come from the academic background like him, you probably don't have a research interest. Many times, to be very sincere, one is that you want to, in Yoruba, I will interpret Bero, which means that I had a friend here who is in the second year or third year, and I said, why are you doing PhD? I want to change my location. Simple. That's all. I'm not going to lie about it. So yeah, so it's possible that you are changing from industry and you don't have a research interest. Do you understand? But over time, it's a must. So whether you don't have an interest is not an excuse. You will get into the heart of those people if you don't channel or tailor what you're doing, what you want to do to what they are doing already. I'll take your questions very quickly, and that will come.
My question is very simple, and it's a thought hanging around in my head. It's been there for quite a while. In a country like Australia, where a lot of people are not going up to PhD, master's level and things like that, and they are gainfully employed and doing things within the community and all around. I want to ask people that are already doing it, the PhDs and stuff, because the first speaker that spoke earlier on, he said something about already by the time he got to the level he got to, he was almost unemployable.
Okay.
Because of his level of education. And I also had problems with that. Having just a master's, because of the extra money that they are going to pay you, they consider you as being overpriced, and no one really wants to employ you. So apart from academia, how else do people that plan to do things like PhD, masters, and things like that, how are they going to survive? How are they going to progress? How can they be, I don't know the right word for it, but being in this kind of system, how do they fulfill that desire that is making them to.
So it's simple. How is it possible that you don't have to keep this PhD in your drawer while you're looking for a job, to get a job? Okay, do you want to say something briefly because you haven't finished? Do you want to say something briefly about that?
Okay, I'll just say that whether you're doing PhD or not, really, I think it's at the end of the day about what you really want to achieve in life, what your plans are, what your goals are. For instance, I knew I was going to do this right from when I was in maybe 300 level in med school or something like that, because I knew exactly, as well, a bit of academics, I'm going to do academics, but there are really other organizations where, for instance, World Health Organization and all of those things. Like 2-3 weeks ago, my supervisor sent me a link to a particular job and told me that when you're done with your PhD, these are the kind of job you can apply for. So it's not necessarily in the academia that you need, a PhD for. But at the same time, I will also say that it really depends on what you want to do. If what you want to do doesn't require a PhD, there is really it's not compulsory. Really. Okay,
thank you very much. Ms. Tosin Adekunle, please get set for 5 minutes for our employment. Dr. Lucia, please.
Well, you see, I talked about focus. You must know why you're doing this PhD. If you do a PhD for the wrong reason, you're going to end up getting a certificate that will not add any value to you. PhD is not about enhancing your employability or marketability in the employment industry. It's a very narrowed area of academic endeavor. Now, but the skills you get from that training is transferable to any industry. Now, the ability to critically analyze things and come up with ideas and test that ideas and all this complex connectivity, that is a skill that you can gain elsewhere, but you will definitely gain it through a PhD endeavor if you have done a thorough job. And you cannot do a PhD in any Australian university and in many Nigerian universities without going through this rigorous academic exercise. So those skills you develop are transferable to any industry. That is one thing. So there is no way that your PhD certificate will not be useful if you have a focus and you have done your PhD for the right reason. It is not for me to begin to say this organization wants a PhD candidate or that or that. That, I believe, is not the focus of that question.
And I can answer it by saying that. Sometimes it can take a while, but it will happen. So you may not get. It's still competitive, like a master's or whatever or bachelor's, but it will happen. So you may step down a bit to get a job in the meantime. But if you really push for what you want, someday, I know what we're going to talk about. It will the relevance in that certificate will eventually come to you. I want to say a big thank you to both of you. And I'd like to add one big question that I thought we'd talk about is funding. Dr. Andrew has been funded. He has been funded, but the question would be people who want to do a PhD but are not fully funded. I am not fully funded. I'm like 45 or 50% off. And I will just say how I got that because I am not funded. So you know the part we're funding, scholarships. I didn't get that, but how did I do mine? So simple, I met my supervisor since 2015 when I was in the UK. For some reason, he liked me so much, even till tomorrow. He likes me so much till today. He will call me and tell me, do you know that Lebada has a smaller plan? It's cheap. Do you know that McDonald's sells $1 one burger? Save my phone till tomorrow. Yeah, so if I was just saying, do you know a $115 plan? You can call it international. I say, yeah, this man is Jevu. So I found favor, I found someone who liked me, and he kept pushing that I got funding. When I got here, he got my school fee reduced again. He does everything to make me comfortable, everything whatsoever, and I fight with him like every other day. I don't want this paper and things like that. So sometimes it's working your way into the hearts of people, and you understand, by just selling yourself that you're smart. So besides getting scholarships, which is very competitive in Australia, when my lecturer said where are academics being more funded, so it was in Japan and America. But in Australia it does happen, but it's quite slim, you must admit. But if not, build a rapport with your supervisor. He will tell you about when they are doing their lecturing, whatever, and all that. So that's one way to fund it. But I'm sure that we have a couple of other questions that I would like to have answered. If we couldn't answer your question, you can walk up to any of them, or you can reach me and I'll reach them on your behalf. Can we please put our hands together for Dr. Olaluwoye and Dr. Olisa for sharing their time with us. Thank you so much, sir. I'll receive Ms. Adekunle very quickly. Just 5 minutes because we've had this pen down. Ms. Adekunle wants to talk to us about employment. She's transitioned from academics into employment that I think she's happy with. In 5 minutes, just share your experience with us, and that would almost be a wrap for today. In other words, we have the register at the back there. Kindly please fill in the registers. We'd like to have the record of people who attended to this program. So please fill in the register if you have not done so. Thank you, Ms. Adekunle.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Ms. Adekunle. Just a brief introduction. Ms. Tosi Adekunle just arrived from Nigeria. It's been about a year and so now a few months. She came from Nigeria with a degree and all that, but and it took a while. But what she's going to share with you today is about her experience. If you're here from Nigeria and you have a qualification and you're struggling to get a job, there are so many ways that you can go out there, and those opportunities are there. So she'll just share her experience with you. Over to you.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Okay. Ekurole, Baba, Atiya, Atiya, Yodo, Atiya, Mokekere. Without taking much of our time, I want to thank Mr. Akindeju for giving us insight on entrepreneurship. But I also want to say that not all of us are going to be business owners. Can I have our attentions, please? Thank you. Okay. Not all of us are going to be business owners or have to be. We start from somewhere anyways, even those that want to be or those that aspire to be. What am I trying to say in essence? Thank you. What I'm trying to say in essence is this: some of us have to work under someone. You still have to learn from somewhere anyways. My main point is go and chase your dreams. I'm not here to tell you some boring stories because my story is really boring, I tell you. I just want to inspire, I hope my story inspires the youths or those that their dreams are already dying. I hope it revives the dying. Borrow me what? Oh well. Supporting what Mrs. Omidera said, I want us to go after what really makes us happy. Find a job or what you do that makes you happy. Don't. When I got to Australia, I came into Australia last year, and the first job I got was working at a bakery. Working in a bakery is really fantastic for those that know how to bake, for those that want to bake, for those that like cooking and like the oven. I do not like it. What really brings me joy is talking to customers and all, so I went and chased the dreams. Now some people will say, oh, chasing what you want is so hard because you get words like, oh, you don't have Australian experience, you need the Australian experience to get that job you want. I tell you what, you need to go out of your comfort zone. Seek these organizations that are supporting Africans. That includes Jesuit Social Services, African Australian Inclusion Program. There are so many organizations that are supporting Africans like myself and you. If you want to be an engineer in this country, you can. If you want to be a banker, you can. All you need to do is register under some of these organizations and I promise you, you'll get it. I am a living testimony. Hallelujah, somebody.
Okay, Tosi, I'm going to interrupt you. I'm a very proactive person and I like a researcher, so I like outcome to question. Tosi, you are just telling me, don't mind me, I'm very damn tired. You're just telling me that good chasing, everybody's chasing their dream. And people are chasing their dream. They're just not meeting this dream. There are tricks, there are strategies to this. Am I wrong? You're just telling us chase. I mean, with Martin or what? With whom? What are the things you did that you think turned out well?
The truth is, we all know what we really enjoy doing.
No, so I'm not talking about what you enjoy doing.
Yeah.
To get a job that you think you got, which some people would try to, but probably lost because of several things. What do you think you did right?
Okay, it was definitely not just me going home and sleeping every day. I was working at the factory, but when I get back, in fact, I work 12 hours, but when I get back from the bakery, I go back to my laptop and apply for jobs, 10 jobs a day. I'm not joking.
Okay, so was there an icing on your application? Was there something you did on your application? Did you tweak your name? Something that you think could be small?
I wouldn't say I lied. But you have to put some things that sell you. Some of these things that do not sell you, don't put it, just leave it that sells you. Oh yeah, well, while I was in India, I had experience. I'd worked in my uncle's company. I'd worked in a real estate firm as well. So I just wrote all of that because I was looking for customer service role. I say things about customer service. I look for roles in other. I said things that have to do with that. You just have to tweak.
Okay, so if I get it correctly, you're saying that the small things that you did in the past, you blew them, you fanned them to flame.
Yes, yes. Okay. Even if I don't walk one step, I say I walk 10 steps.
Okay. One step, 10 steps. Any other tricks? Alex, do you have any other thing to say?
Nothing much. Just know what you want. Go to JSUIT Social Services or African Australian Inclusion Program. They are willing to help Africans. They are willing to. It's not promo. It's not like they are just helping. It's an opportunity that we should grab.
So what do they do? What do they do at JSUIT? I'm sorry that I'm asking all this nitty-gritty.
Yeah, like you said some people are actually chasing their dreams, but they are just not getting results. Okay. That's because they've had some interviews that they tell them, oh, you need the Australian experience, or you don't have this. This JSUIT Social Services put you out there and give you that Australian experience. And in the end, because you get to work for like 6 months, and after the 6 months, you might get retained, or if you go out there, I promise you, you're going to be...
So they give you, they connect you with that 6 month experience, yeah. Paid or not?
Paid.
Paid. And is it an assurance that they will get you on the spot, or just attending?
Oh, you have to be good yourself, you have to prove yourself.
But they give you a privilege?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, I didn't put you on your spot.
No, it's okay.
I'm sorry, thank you very much. Put your hands together for Tony. I'm sorry if I did it back to back, but I need us to get the juice out back.
Ladies and gentlemen, just a quick announcement. There is a register at the back there. Please, everyone, we want you to put your name and email address and telephone number on that register. It's very, very important for the association. Please don't forget, it's at the back there. And secondly, one of our sisters here has bought 2 books especially for the ladies, and she's already paid for it. So 2 ladies that they want them to take advantage of this book. So any 2 ladies?
I'm a lady now.
Sorry?
I'm a lady.
Are you raising your hand?
I'm raising my hand. Is it the table?
You're fine now. So one more. Okay, please go.
Mommy, you're a lady. Mommy, I got them.
There are more books there, $25 each, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much. To wrap up quickly, I'm going to receive the youth coordinator, that's the correct word to use, to give us a brief information about the youth. Please put your hands. I call him the Chief Olayemi of Onishara community.
Yeah, good evening everyone. Just a quick one about the youth program that we are proposing. For the first time in the history of Yoruba Association, we are holding a program for the youth. Of course, everybody is welcome to attend as well. It's going to be in the city, at the Nigeria restaurants in the city. They are Dunai. I don't know if everyone is familiar with that. We will send out the details shortly, and then so that we can have the full information at hand. And then again, please, as we always support the program, please let us show up and then have a good time for the program. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. And it's a wrap. It's a wrap. I'm going to receive Mr. Charles Omutade to give us the vote of thanks. He's the Vice President of the Yoruba Heritage and Cultural Association of Victoria in Australia. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone. My thanks goes to the two MCs. They've done a fantastic job. Thank you so much for holding everybody together, for moderating the program of today. And I would like to thank all of us. Can we give ourselves a round of applause? We really did well. We all did well. The crowd was quite encouraging, even though it's a long weekend, a public holiday. I know a lot of people would have loved to just go camping and go to Lake Mohala, Lake this and Lake that and all that. But we decided to come around here and have fun with ourselves. So it is a beautiful Easter, Good Friday. I believe we've all learned one or two things even while we're still having fun. So this is something that is great. Thank you everyone. Thank you to Mrs. Obidiora for the dance. I really don't know that Mrs. Obidiora can kick it that way. So we thank you for your efforts. And we appreciate you. And please patronize the book. It's very important. And I wish everybody a safe trip back. I know we are all traveling to different places, back to Melbourne, back to Shepparton, back to Poland. Please, Poland is just at the backyard here. If you miss your road, you can just drive to Poland. You can spend the night there and go home tomorrow. If anyone misses their road, just drive to Poland. Dr. Balogo will host you for the night, and then you go home tomorrow. Please, I wish everyone a safe trip. Thank you to all the kids. They are all well behaved. They're part of the fun and they have so much fun as well. So we hope to have more of this event, more of this activity. Our next bus stop is at Yoruba Day, and we're already planning big for that. It's going to be different this year, and I wish all of us a happy Easter. I wish us a very good weekend, and have fun. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you so much for coming, everyone. And just a note, we've got turbans, beautiful turbans, crystal pearl turbans at that corner. Would you like to have one? Please stop by at that table. And yes, get to the book table as well. Until the next time you see me before you again, as usual, I'll come again. Okay, let's have some good music.
Onílé àtọmọdé mo kí yín mo kágò. Ó dìgbà mìíràn o, ẹ̀yin ọmọ